That was good. That was a bit alternative. That was a bit, yeah.
Well,
It was like a trumpet that was trying its best.
As close as I can get.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Hello, we're live. Hey, ALTBAYS Show brought to you by ALTBAYS.nz. Look at this place. Look how amazing this is. What a beautiful studio with beautiful people.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. We've been doing this for 4 months. What a journey. Show number 58. Is that right, Papa? I'm tired of giving wrong numbers. 58. Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel to support the platform so we can bring more cool, interesting people to chat, which is what we like to do. At least I do.
Do you sleep talk and say that? Like, in the middle of the night, just live on Mondays every Wednesday.
Are you asking about the way that I talk or the things that I say?
The things you say when you. I say you'd say those words when you sleep talk at night. In the middle of the night, someone's in the hallway. Hey, my brothers and sisters. Are you a snorer?
Not anymore. Because
Yeah?
I tape my mouth now.
Nice.
Yeah. Hayley. And tonight. Yeah. It's been a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fantastic. I don't sleep anymore. I don't wake up anymore to use the toilet. I sleep through most of the nights. So I guess I don't snore anymore. Or it's probably like this.
So
Maybe.
you
Could
don't
be.
get up
Same
in the
strategy
night anymore.
downstairs as upstairs? Or?
Yeah.
Is it the same tape strategy downstairs as upstairs or what?
I would die that way, bro. It needs a way out, Mark. It needs a way out. Hopefully not through my ears or my nose. So I do keep some holes, available for whatever.
Great show start. Great show start. Yeah, we're doing well.
It's good to have Mr. Roberts here on my left. How are you, Fabian?
Kia ora, I'm doing all right. Doing very well.
Do you snore? You got a wife, so she is like proof. Of,
Well, I think
you're still together, right?
we are still together.
Good.
It's what, 12 years, I think.
Wow. How old are you?
30. 31 this year. My guests are thinking, geez, he's so young, but he looks so old. Yep, thanks guys. I saw the look. Jesus.
I'm thinking I'm so old.
Really? Nah.
It may be true, but we'll find out about that soon. With regards to snoring, I am almost the opposite, which is really disconcerting, I think. I sleep like this, lying on my back.
Oh, you don't move?
I could be dead.
Really?
Yeah, I'm basically a horror movie. If someone broke into our house, they'd like be there to kill me. They'd be like, "Oh shit, he's already dead." Just take the stuff and leave. It's great.
That kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm terribly silent.
Do you have any cool stories about people like sleepwalkers or something like that?
I was once a sleepwalker. Yep. In
Great,
fact, as
here
my
we
brother
go.
will tell you.
Nice. I'm ready.
So I was the youngest of 6. Therefore, I had 5 older
6.
siblings.
Shout
Yep.
out to mom. No TV at home. In the 90s? Was that right?
This is the 90s, yeah.
Wow, you're from the 90s.
In 91. It's a good year. You know.
Carry on.
Anyway,
I was already shitting my pants at that time. I'm from 88, so...
Fair enough. I was essentially a couple of months after I was born, Freddie Mercury died. And my siblings told me as I grew up that it was my fault. And I actually believed it for a while. I thought I was the reason Queen really died. Yeah, they just got back together, and then I was born, and he got AIDS.
Oh, shit.
At that stage, obviously, I didn't know anything about AIDS. And they probably
Just that was horrible.
They probably shouldn't have told me about AIDS at that stage anyway, with the truth. But anyway, so I was once a sleepwalker. I am no longer a sleepwalker.
How do you know?
I'm clumsy. I'd walk into a wall. I'd get hurt. I'd fall down the stairs.
Not... Okay. Something just came to my mind because the thing is... Wait. I want to bring more people to this conversation. So tonight, we have the... Yeah. This, you know where we are, right?
Segue.
Hold it there. Hold that moment. You know where we're going. Tonight is a very special show because we have here with us Hayley Jones.
Hello.
Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
It's good to see you.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Do you like the space?
I love the space. And the cactus.
There. Oh, Fabian, someone likes the cactus. See?
Love the cactus.
Most people do. And
He's still freezing.
I
He's holding.
asked him to.
It's pretty good.
Mark Jones.
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Thanks for the trip today.
Yeah, no worries.
That was fun.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I learned a lot. Had a great time.
Saw some fish.
Saw some fish. Yes.
Couple of rocks.
More than fish, a lot of rocks, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. It was great. Thank you.
No worries.
Anyway, the thing with sleepwalkers, you said something about waking up in the middle of the night, and tell me that story, Hayley. That was fantastic. There you go.
Yep. We had a horror story moment last night. We had just gone to bed and turned the lights off, and from my bed I can see down the hallway where our kids' room is, and they have like little fairy lights, so I can always tell when there's a light on in the house. And turned the light off, got into bed, and I was like, oh, did you turn the light off in the kids' room, Mark? And he's like, no. And then I kind of had a panic moment, and then I heard it, this next to our bed. So I quickly turned the light on, and there was our 7-year-old daughter face to face with me, sleepwalking and breathing in my face. And I was very polite about it.
Hashtag not.
Didn't you say, what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was quite
That's
clear.
exactly what she
That's
said.
why I asked you to tell the story. You just
Yep.
missed the best part, but cool. Thank you.
I turned the light on and sat up and went, what the fuck?
It was literally the light was off and then on, and it's like in the space of, it felt like half a second, there was no one there. Light comes on, and I'd just gone to bed, just standing right there, and I thought, whoa, that was like so impressively quick. And Hayley
Yeah.
just politely said, what are you doing here? And she got a fry, I got a fry, I always start screaming. Just the standard night.
Let me take you back to bed, dear darling.
Yes.
As soon as your heart starts.
Yeah. We got back into bed and both of us was like, that was weird. That was really weird.
Any of those stories with little Wally or
No.
some madness?
well-
Children madness. That's a good episode. That's a good name for a show.
Children madness.
Children madness. Yeah.
You'd get some good stories.
Hey,
Put them all on a ring.
Whitianga.
One gets a bat, one gets a ball.
See what happens.
Well, see, I'm one of those amazing people that as soon as my kids were weaning off breastfeeding and going to the bottle, I took over all the night feeds for both my kids. So I sleep silently,
But you're a light sleeper.
and I can hear everything. So I can hear the from one of my kids. So they can't creep up on me. I can hear him walking. I can hear a door handle.
Oh, cool.
The next door handle.
So your feminine. So your feminine side got to your ears because apparently, children cry in high pitch because women are better at listening to those. Have you heard about that? Have you read that before?
I haven't read it. I just say it's my paternal nature.
Paternal
I'd
nature.
almost agree with you because he hears nothing.
Nothing.
There
Nothing.
you go, Mark.
I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, I'm so
That's what they all
tired.
say.
Mark, yeah, that's what I was
hears
thinking.
Nothing. He has
Thinking.
absolutely nothing.
Mark, did you have to say that from day one?
Just
that you didn't
roll
hear
over.
it and then
Actually,
just
that discussion with a few mates, and like just lie in bed until the wife wakes up. You're like, oh, I was
You're
about to get up.
For God's sake, I'll just do it.
Good. There you go. And in this great mood, what a beautiful night. ALTBAYS Show. If you want to do this, if you want to run your own podcast, if you want to do these beautiful things, chat with people and make a show, you go to altbays.nz. You tell us what your story is, what's the plan, and we're going to produce. If you are the producer, we're going to do the cameras, we're going to do whatever. We got it sorted, okay? There are amazing things coming up. Our mentoring program is going well as well. So if you want to support that, we're bringing a lot of teenagers and people, adolescents and kids who are keen to learn softwares and stuff. So we are starting this program. If you want to be a supporter, if you want to be part of it, hit us up. It will be very well welcomed. Back to Crazy Children. You know what I was thinking? You guys have the boat thing, which is fantastic, glass bottom boats. And you have a history at sea, right? Which I want to listen to some things. But was that a point that you guys spent time with the children on like a considerable amount of time? With
Yeah,
the
we do. I
children?
suppose it just flows pretty easily. Like we're always doing things on the ocean, around the ocean. Hayley loves swimming. I love diving. And it's just our weekends and pastime is always even discussing it or talking about boat trips or trying to organise staff or customers, and the kids pick up on it, and we'll happily go to the beach on a day and without even really thinking about it, I suppose. They're just involved without trying. They're both surf lifesavers, juniors, whatever it's called. But no, they love it. They're swimming all the time. We actually had a swimming last night prize giving, and our eldest got most improved swimmer, which was a little Hayley's
Had a proud mum moment.
little proud mum moment. And they're only sort of just grasping the whole swimming, snorkeling thing, but they are into it.
But they love it.
They do love it.
Yeah.
They probably
That
picked up
most
like us.
improved award in any sort of category, any sort of sport is an interesting one because it really scales. Like from the kid who's swimming in a circle to suddenly use their other arm going straight line. That'd be most improved, or
But even that
least
younger
amount
one-
of time underwater drowning, or they hop in, they drown 6 times at the beginning. All of a sudden, they can make one length. Most improved.
I've seen adults that can't swim almost as good as some of my kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, they've seen some shockers out there on the boat, and even on, mini boats, but including glass bottom, people still just can't grasp.
Did they
the
resort
whole-
to doggy paddle? Is it actually
They
the
even
one?
can't even do that. I've been literally on the boat, and they're like here to the TV away, and they're like, they can't even get that movement. It's just, you're 2 meters in the boat. They just never been known, just so unknown with water.
They just want to swim. They just want to have that experience, come out on the boat and say they've swum in the sea.
Get a photo.
Say they've nearly drowned in the sea. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Smile the photo.
Sign the waiver. Gone. I only took out 12 today, not 13.
But the thing with swimming, like, because I was always used to swim in a swimming pool, and then you go straight and you get that sorted, and then you're in the sea, you're like, oh my fucking lord, this is taking me everywhere, especially here. They're like, you're at the surface here, and then you start to walk in the water sometimes, and you cannot, like, the currents really takes you. So there's a proper technique for like sea swimming, like there's or is just repetition, or it's just practice, or you actually have to understand.
You probably
You
better
just
talking to
need
Hayley.
to be comfortable, I think, and you don't even have to be overly strong, but just comfortable in yourself. So if you are going to get hit by a wave, or you are going to get taken in a little bit of a current or a rip, you're not going to freak out. You're just going to be like, oh yeah, that's okay, I'll just come here and then swim back this way, or just follow the sea and strike one. What was that?
There was one pre-show.
Yeah, but the show wasn't on. The show wasn't on.
We'll
be kind.
consider
What was
that
that
after
for? You
3.
said?
We'll consider that. We'll check that after 3.
You see, I'm still stuck on the idea that, you could. I struggled to swim in a straight line in the pool. I'd always end up going to those bloody barriers and like stabbing your fingers into the plastic divides.
Do you not have the little black line on the bottom of the pool, like if you're doing laps?
Honestly, goggles are the most uncomfortable thing ever. So I wouldn't use them, and I'd be blind, and I'd be squinting, and I'd hit the ropes.
That's kind of fair enough.
Well, they call them ropes, but they're not ropes. They're
No, they're
plastic.
plastic.
Like they cut your fingers out. They're like a mandolin. You can cut
Plain
up
ropes.
vegetables with them. It's awful. Play-Doh molds.
So what kind of training did you go through to get this proper?
Hayley's
thing with-
pretty subtle. She's like a real good ocean swimmer. That's just her thing. She's.
I'm not a real good ocean swimmer.
Well, you,
But
you
you
went away
did
like
it.
2 weekends ago and like won your age group, and you got to swim next weekend. You got to swim last weekend. She's an ocean
you
swimmer.
do
It's
it.
her
You
thing.
just do it. You don't
When
stop.
I was younger, I was a competitive swimmer. So, as I mentioned before, I'm from a small town in Western Australia.
So what's it called again?
Exmouth.
Exmouth.
It was
Exmouth.
mouth, but now it's
It's a good name.
It is a really cool town. It's beautiful. It's like a real coastal, ocean, beachy, swimming, tourism town.
Whitianga-ish of Western Australia.
But so we had a 50-metre pool, and we had a really strong swimming club. So I was competitive swimming by the age of 8. And that was me as a teenager. And then I hit like a young adult and stopped doing any of that sort of stuff and enjoyed some life for a little while. And got back into it when I was maybe about 26. Got back into it again. And then left Exmouth and didn't start ocean swimming until I was in the Caribbean. That was about 10 years ago. Is that 10 years ago?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2013, 2022.
And by that point, I was already a strong
12.
swimmer anyway. So, and after swimming...
Can we just rewind that point?
Yep.
So you were in Exmouth.
Did you just want to say the
You
name?
had no social life for your entire swimming, and then you got out of it,
Yeah.
did something else, And I'm going to go to the Caribbean. Where in the Caribbean? How do you get like there? What's that?
That's a cool place to be.
There's quite a bit in between that.
Well, you went straight there. So
Well, but we were talking
She
about
swam there.
swimming. I swam there. Yeah. No. Well, we came to Whitianga in 2016.
11.
What's 5 years? What's 5 years?
Someone-
I know, yeah.
Someone's
I know.
keeping track of the numbers for sure. We know that. We
It was
can
Rugby
tell.
World Cup 2011. How do you forget that? We won it at home.
I wonder why. So
What sport was that?
we came here in 2011, and then we both got jobs on the glass bottom boat, and so we were working for the previous owners. And then after the season finished, they were like, "Well, we don't really have any work for you. It's time for you to move on." And we were okay with that, but we didn't know what we wanted to do. And Mark got a job offer for the Caribbean to work in a sustainable lobster farm. And he, at the time, was like, "Oh, I know a lot about fish and
Done a
fish
bit of
farming.
fish farming in the past,
Yeah,
but not crayfish farming.
But not fish farming." And I was like, "You will read because we're going to live in the Caribbean."
So we applied for the job. That's in about March, April, after the summer season. We applied for this job in this country that we didn't even know existed, the British Virgin Islands. We applied, the guys emailed back and forth, and there was about 4 directors, and one of the directors lives in Taupo. So he said, "Do you want to come and meet face to face?" And we were like, "Okay." So me and Hayley drove from Footy down there, and we were like in this old van.
In this old van.
So we literally
we like
hid the
parked
van
3
around the
streets
corner.
away, so we didn't get seen in this old crappy van.
put down our best clothes and went and met this guy, interviewed obviously well, and then we drove home and they said, "Yep, you guys have the job, you start as soon as you can get visas for the country," which we were thinking a month, 6-8 weeks, and it took like 7
October.
months. Yeah,
That was
took
in
a
May.
lot longer, and it's just, it's a tiny country. It's 30,000 people. Everything's backwards. Everything's still paper. There's no sort of computers.
The
and it was-
Caribbean. So
and
like
the country over
independence,
there, yeah.
there's no connection to any other.
The Caribbean's just obviously like, I don't know, 30
It was a
odd-
British territory.
It was a British
British.
territory.
It was a
but
British territory, yeah.
That's right.
That was 1 year. That was 2012 till 2013. It's a cool year.
Yeah.
Weird country, like awesome country, but
Yeah, it was an awesome country. It was just quite, after coming from New Zealand, it was quite backwards. Like you get paid in a check and you pay for everything with checks and all that sort of stuff.
you
And
drive on the left, but all the cars are American, so you drive on the inside, and even the school buses, the driver's on the inside, and the kids jump out into the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like this stuff like that happening all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
it's a
crazy.
horrible feeling being in that car.
And the
Because we
roads
had a
are
car,
not-
and so you're on the oncoming traffic as a passenger. You're just like this the whole time.
it's a big tax haven. There's like 30,000 people and 1.5 million registered companies in that country.
Wow.
It's weird. Richard Branson that's why all the stuff's Virgin, because it's all based in British Virgin Islands, and a lot of money there, but you don't really see the money. It's all sort of coming in and going out without going there. Yeah, it's cool spot. But
Here we go, children. Understand a little bit about colonization. Carry on. Boom.
Oh no.
Good.
Fun fact about Richard Branson.
Yes.
Richard Branson with Virgin Records. His first album he signed was Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, which was the soundtrack for The Exorcist. There you go. Richard Branson, little bit of trivia.
Sort of fun fact.
Yeah.
That billionaire, isn't it? That guy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Lovely hair, went up into space. He's building, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
went out to Branson
went to his
Island.
island.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Sorry, Branson Island.
No,
Necker.
Necker it's called.
Oh, I was going to say, to Branson Island. That's
He bought
that's
it back
next
in the day
level.
for next to nothing, but you could go and stay on the island. It was 50,000 US a night
For the whole island.
for the whole
For the
island.
whole island.
But it's,
To stay for the night.
you can go and rent it tomorrow
But
for
you,
50,000
that's
US.
50,000 for the whole island. So you get like
You're selling
three or four like little units that's separated on the island, and you get all the stuff and all that sort of
Bring
stuff.
50 mates.
Because I heard,
$1,000 each.
because I
That's the
heard,
thing.
I heard it once that it's actually not expensive to buy an island, but it's actually what you do with it and how much you're gonna charge for what you added to the island, right? That makes it.
I don't know if you can buy them anymore, but the one beside it was owned by the Google guy.
The Google dude. Mosquito Island.
Mosquito Island, yeah. It's a pretty out there place. Like Princess Diana used to go there, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, they all go holiday at Brance's Island. We got tortoises, lemurs that just walk and hop around the island. It's pretty
Is
cool. spot.
Kate Winslet in the Princess Diana, Leonardo DiCaprio level of celebrity? Is she like an A+ lister?
Well, Princess Di, I'm just thinking, she died back in 97.
gonna say,
like,
she doesn't
there
go
could be
much
some young
often
girls
anymore.
out there, they probably weren't born then, so like, who's she? So I was just trying to bring it in, you know.
I
Fair
know
enough.
Kate Winslet is. She's actually, I'm pretty sure.
The whole Titanic, I was going
Yeah,
with that.
I'm pretty sure
Boat
she's
thing.
actually married to Branson's son or something, or I feel like there's some sort of marriage connection.
Right.
And I feel like from living there, there was a lightning strike and the
Fire.
island caught on fire, and she pulled Branson's mum out of a burning hut or something.
Wow,
Yeah.
rescuing,
So she's
the,
an
rescuing
A-lister
the
now.
mother-in-law. That's
Mhm. She's in forever.
that's
Brownie
crazy.
points for life.
Yeah. Hi, do you mind just helping me? Can I borrow that jet? Remember I pulled you out of Burning Island, you know?
Yeah. Maybe she set up the island on fire and planned to save the mom.
Kate Winslet, she is an actress. She could have totally bluffed her way out of it.
There you go.
Called in Leo.
You heard it here first. Probably not, actually.
Conspiracy theory
There's a lot
101.
of people online. It's probably been said 1,000 times.
Yes.
We'll never be original.
Anyway, Caribbean, everything on the wrong side, chaos, but you guys loving it. And then
We
from
were
there,
loving it. So we did the glass bottom boat for a season. We started in sort of October, November, did the season till April, and then me and Hayley would sort of didn't know really what we were going to do. Got this job in the Caribbean, and that didn't really start till October because of our visas and everything. And then we were there for probably 7, 8 months, 9 months, like loving it.
We're there for a year.
Yeah, we were about 7, 8, 9 months in though. We got an email from the old owners of the glass bottom boat and said, because we know them pretty well. We always talked about how we want to come back to New Zealand and do something like the glass bottom boat and own something like that one day. And they emailed us and said, look, it's still up. We're going to put it up for sale. You guys talked about doing it. Are you interested? And we thought about it, and ahed about it for probably weeks or months or a month. And then we thought, we like the Caribbean. And previous to that, we'd done seasons in sort of other places in the world. We'd do 6 months in Canada and blah, blah, blah. And we thought, that's we do like Whitianga. That's where we want to sort of have a crack at it. So they were all nice people, and they sort of loaned us the money into the glass bottom boat. So we went through negotiation, and we ended up buying it November 2013. So we came pretty much straight from the Caribbean in October. Short story, did a month to get from there to Whitianga. Did a little bit of a road trip on the way home. Saw Hayley's cousin.
Straight into a business.
In Chicago, and then that was November 2013, and pretty much head down, bum up, I suppose. Couple of little trips from there, but almost 9 years this November, and next year will be 10 years glass bottom boat business owners, which is a bit of it, not weird, or it's gone fast but slow at the
Kinda
same
gone
time.
fast.
It's
Yeah. A lot's
wasn't-
happened in between.
yeah, a couple of young kids and things. As they do, a couple of horror night
Yeah.
stories,
Pandemics.
pandemics, yeah.
Yep.
I want to talk about, but I know that because I know we're going to talk about the glass bottom boats a lot. I know that. So I just want to go back a little bit again. Sustainable lobster farming.
Yeah. What does that mean? You only kill off like the sick ones?
The ugly ones,
Pretty much.
or the is it
No,
No,
really.
no.
ugly
No.
sick? Shit.
Yeah, so my background, I'm originally from South Otago, down in the South Island.
Can you name the town?
Balclutha.
Oh, you poor
You
thing.
like the names, hey? Tonight, there we go.
Well, not everyone know that.
Ex-Balcluthan here.
Yeah, ex-Balclutha. And then I moved to Tauranga after high school and studied marine biology in Tauranga. And then after that, I was quite keen on the fish farming thing. So I got a job in the Marlborough Sounds for 2 years. We're working on an experimental kingfish farm. I think it's still the first place or the only place in New Zealand where kingfish that have been bred in captivity have been put into sea pens. So we tried that for 2 years in the Marlborough Sounds. Pretty much short stories that it failed. Got too cold in the winter.
What is a fail? Like they just don't.
Pretty much they died in the winter, the short story. They grow real good in the summer, and they found in the Marlborough Sounds in the summer, but in the winter they all sort of migrate or disappear. But we obviously had 250,000 of them in pens, and we would be feeding me and like one or two others. We feeding them, and they all started dying. So we had the fun job of diving in 10-degree water, pulling all these dead fish out and counting them and measuring them. It was a pretty horrific time looking back, especially when you put all that effort in, and that was all going so well. And it was the big hype of New Zealand was aquaculture and fish farming, and we had the Ministry of Fisheries coming down at the time, Jim Anderton, I think, and all these big wigs coming down, checking out this brand new, big, amazing
Looking at
venture.
your
So you go out at
fish.
4 a.m. to pull up all the dead ones out of the way before they
So
go and
it's
visit at
pretty
6.
much.
Yeah.
It was
Sorry, I don't
pretty-
know if I missed it or if I'm just being ignorant. Was it temperature wise?
Temperature, yeah.
Ah, right.
So they're only found there in the summer. Then in the winter, the natural ones, the wild ones, they disappear. But we had them in like big cages, and it was sort of temperature related. I guess they had more and more diseases, parasites, and they can't fight them off because they can't. So they all just start keeling over. Anyway, there for 2 years, kingfish didn't work out. I was still pretty keen on the kingfish, and there was this brand new venture going in just north of Perth in Western Australia. And from what I researched, water's way warmer. It's going to be better. So I applied for this job on pretty much the other side of the world, got it, flew over there. That was in 2007 to 2008. And it was going pretty good. We still hadn't quite cracked it, but it was still experimental, a lot of money going out, nothing coming in. 2008 was the GFC. A couple of our big backers, the guy Murdoch from Australia, who was like a main backer, he pulled the pin on anything that wasn't making money, which happened to be this kingfish farm. And then all the little guys seen the big guy pull out, so they all pulled out. All of a sudden, everything collapsed, and we had fish again dying, and it was a bit chaotic there. And that was 2008.
It's a shame that they couldn't like establish their own sort of ecosystem. Oh shit, no one's feeding us. Just start eating each other,
They
and
do.
half of you will survive. Maybe, come on.
Yeah, they do. And they even die with like the kingfish in their body. Like they'll die with their mate. And they're pretty full on little fish.
At least they die together, company.
Yeah.
At least it's someone they know killing
Nice, Fabian. That's a
Brother.
good Friday
Probably
night
was a brother or a
vibes.
sister.
Positive.
a silver lining.
Togetherness.
Yes, good man. Find a good thing on everything. There
Have
you
to.
go.
Yeah, so that was 2008, and then that was about March, and then through my studies and stuff, I'd heard about this place called Exmouth, and it's like, I suppose like the Great Barrier Reef of the West Coast. There's a reef called the Ningaloo Reef that isn't very well known to a lot of people, but
Way better than the Great Barrier Reef.
if you're a diver or know about it, it is better if you ask me. I've dived sort of both, and it's way more unknown, way more remote, way hard to get to. But it's pretty awesome. And the season up there...
You've just given it away.
all the listeners
Good. Start.
No, it is an awesome spot. But the season there, because it gets too hot up there in summer, so same as our summer, their summer, it's just too hot. Like the Hayley's had a Christmas day where it's been 51 degrees sort of thing.
Yeah.
But from March to July-ish is peak season for all the animals, all the wildlife turns up. And that's when all the tourists turn up, and that's when I got kicked out of my kingfish job. So I got this job as a dive instructor, diving in the Ningaloo Reef, and that's happened to work on one boat. And this girl Hayley was on the boat. And that's pretty much long
This
story short.
Hayley?
Yeah, one of them.
that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome spot. And then I pretty much then gave up on aquaculture, and I thought tourism's
Where it's
way
at.
more fun.
It's probably
way
good you
better
gave up
place.
because all you've done is murder millions
I
of
know.
things.
Yeah,
Like,
what's
you
the
breed them
worst?
to die.
You're not the only person. Everyone, a lot of my mates saying, like, every farm I worked on two and they've just collapsed. So I'm like, anyway, tourism, here I am. Hopefully class one boat goes a bit longer.
And name it to Whitianga. We've got
And what-
scallops.
I know, and what's just happened?
everything's
Tourism
disappearing.
collapsed.
Crayfish collapse, scallops collapse, blame me.
The tourism is working, man. Did you say 11 years? 10 years, 11 years? With the
For
glass
GBB,
barrel?
yeah. Yeah, for 10 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So wait. So that was a journey, and then you also mentioned Canada.
Yep.
Yes.
How was
And
life?
Probably there's a little bit between if we're going to kind of go through. And the thing in between was Tonga, South Pacific. Me and Hayley both did a season in Tonga.
Well, you did it first. Yeah,
Long
I did
story
it
short.
while you were doing your rugby band.
That's
trip.
one of in Exmouth. The famous thing for Exmouth is whale sharks. It's
The
one of
seventh
the
Exmouth, by the way.
8. It's one of the only places in the world where you can guarantee you'll see a whale shark if you go out diving for the day. There's only a few places in the world where you do see them in other places, but if you're a tourist and you want to pay the money, you want to guarantee you can see them. And Exmouth is one of the only places you can do it. So but they're there from March to July.
Yeah.
Come July, the whale sharks bugger off, tourists sort of bugger off, and then that's when the humpback whale season starts in Tonga. So that's when I'd left there and went to Tonga for 2 or 3 months, swimming with humpback whales instead of whale sharks.
So
do
whale
you
sharks are...
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Humpbacks or whale sharks?
Humpbacks for sure.
We have this debate often.
Humpback whales are pretty cool to swim with. If you ever get the opportunity, just do it hands down.
So like when you say swim with them, it's actually like just next to them. There's
you hop
nothing.
on the back,
there's
you
no-
ride them, yeah.
Well,
It's gone
If
pretty
you
close
did-
to be
The
honest.
orchestra
Yeah.
come out and start playing. It's basically full whale rider. Keisha Castle, Hughesville.
Keisha Castle Hughes turns up and just starts hanging on, pulls a shaka.
Wow. So they feel safe. They feel good. The animals are happy where they are, and do they do it well? The tourism, like with taking people.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Because it
Yeah.
sounds a bit harsh for a place like if you don't know about the structure, you're like, wow, are they actually doing it right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exmouth is probably one of the best places in the world to see whale sharks and to swim with them. Like the regulations are really good.
Good.
It's done in a very
Nice.
sustainable way. There is quite a few boats out there now, but the rules are really strict. So everyone is thinking about the safety and the well-being of the wildlife there, which is really good. And Tonga, I'm pretty sure, is getting better. Yeah.
Right. Have you been to Tonga? No, that was
No,
Rarotonga.
Rarotonga.
Rarotonga. And you didn't make a...
Couldn't afford it. First job. First job, baby. You're on local rates. Plus a bit, but yeah.
So you're there
Barely
for 2
nothing.
years. So what are you doing there for 2 years?
First job teaching.
Oh,
Straight out, yeah. I never left school since I was 5. And I know it sounds sad.
Yeah.
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 It's,
Yeah. Unless you bring Harry Potter up, it's going to get sadder. But let's save it for
You
later.
must have
right?
learned a lot of things. You probably could say the alphabet backwards sort of thing.
what a lovely secret. It's so natural
you?
how that came out.
Can you? Hire these guys, man.
I would love to
Just
hear
get them
that.
over, just
I've
get them
never
over
heard
the-
it.
No way you could do that.
Can you do that?
Oh, I probably could.
What?
Do I have to do it fast or slow?
And rhyme.
Well, nowadays with YouTube, you can
with rhyme.
change the speed. Oh, I'm giving him time to think. Hey, now do
Right.
it.
ZYXWVUTSIQPOENMLKJIHGFEDCBA. It didn't really rhyme though.
I'll give it
It'll
to you.
do.
Oh.
You're getting better at that. That's nice. The timing.
man.
Like, when they started initially, I think we made a joke at one point, and maybe 10 seconds later, a new topic, but what?
Wow.
They're getting better behind the scenes.
Like you know that like it doesn't bring much value to your life knowing that, right? Like it's cool.
No, in the alphabet backwards.
Yeah. That kind of stuff, like that level of memory, because I saw a documentary about like one of the best guys to memorize cards and stuff. You know, those freaks that like, he's broke as
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Like he's so broke. Like he was telling, he said, people think that I get money with my good memory, which he should. So, you
Do
know
you think
this.
you could do that with cards?
Hey.
No, I'd say my entire comedic oeuvre
Here we go.
is around
Here we go.
the occasional witty little trick that I never have to repeat. So that's the reason I stay in school, because the new kids come in a few years and I can
And you
reuse
can repeat the same stuff
tricks.
over and
Yeah?
over and
It's a
over.
bit like going out boating. You get on a boat, there's the
Right.
same route, there's the
We get
same
the
little
same
rock with a bit of
jokes.
hole in it,
Yeah, we use the same jokes all the time.
and you got to make it feel, fresh. Oh, I've never seen these whales before. Oh shit. Fuck. So good.
What a show, eh? so
What
that-
were we talking about?
we were leading
Tonga.
on to
Tonga.
Thank you.
But it's good. We got
Something
time. We
down
got
there.
time. We got time.
It was such a natural segue to those little jokes.
Do we? How long are we here for? God damn it. How many more blue fridge beers do we have?
Top up,
we got a
Hector.
few, Mark. We're fine, man. Look at this.
Even got a dolphin on it.
Woo!
It's a sign.
it's almost the
I'm gonna
same
come
as
get
our
some.
old
Thanks, Adam.
t-shirt.
Yeah, the beautiful way, the designs of the
Cheers, man.
tickets and everything. So here we are in Tonga, rocking, and then because you
Yeah,
said that
Tonga
was
was-
the move before Canada, but good that you took us to Tonga.
Yeah, pretty much. We've both done Tonga effectively. We went back to
Different
Exmouth
times.
different times. But we did another season in Exmouth, and then I had a couple of buddies in the Marlborough Sounds who I'd met back in the day, and they wanted to go to Canada for a year, just for no other reason. Let's just go to Canada, and I'm like, I'm keen for that. So we went to Canada, and then Hayley come over to Canada, and we were just chasing snow at that point, just going to go do a season of snow. And we lived in a little town called Fernie, if you ever have heard of that. It's right on if you know Canada much, you're looking at it on the map. On
I
the
don't know
left.
much about Canada at all.
So you got provinces, not states. There's 9 provinces.
Shit.
The best one, if you ask me, I've only pretty much been to one, is British Columbia, BC. And we were living on the corner of
the
BC,
largest one.
Alberta, and the American border. So you're sort of on the left of Canada, but a slightly to the right. 12-hour drive from Vancouver inland. In the Rockies. awesome place, and
Great snow.
great snow.
Great
What do you do
snow.
in the snow? Are you tobogganing? Are you
Just snowboarding.
snowboarding?
Yeah, just boarding.
Nice.
We're
I
there-
try snowboarding.
Is there a different
Trying is
skiing,
good.
Trying.
snowboard,
I can
skier?
stay. No. We took our kids to the snow for the first time
Last
last
year.
year, and I got on
Hayley's
skis.
not a skier.
I got on skis for the first time. Not a smart idea to learn skis and try and teach your kid at the same time.
At Happy Valley, which my mate named it Divorce
Not-
Valley.
Yeah, Divorce Valley. But we went there. We had 2 kids. We didn't get divorced. Yay! Positive holiday.
Nice.
It wasn't positive COVID, it was positive us.
No.
I hear it got more expensive. Is that right? To go out there?
To
To go out to the mountain to sort of go on the
Yeah,
snow
we don't-
nowadays.
Don't know.
I sort of did the snow in Canada, I suppose, and I've done a couple of little missions in New Zealand, but after Canada, it was sort of so good, it sort of broke me.
Sorry. You can stay. You're cool.
I have to. It's so early
See,
still.
I'd kick her out, but it's fine.
It's early and she's good.
But the first one doesn't count because we went live.
Maybe.
Okay.
Because I remember reading an article in, must have been 2020, in that year of COVID, and they talked about, well, an opinion piece came into stuff, and it was about, why does New Zealand's ski fields have the most expensive burger? I've travelled all around the world and I've gone to find everyone's basic cheeseburger, and if you do the maths, we have the most expensive burger. It's ridiculous. And, you know, it got thousands of comments and people all chipping in. Well, yeah, and the buns are the wrong size, and everyone's getting real pissed off, and it's just so funny. But, you know, would you have been upset if you had to pay $25 for a burger and chips?
I think
Yeah,
if you're
I'm
going
not
to eat at the
that
ski
addicted
fields,
to
you've
the
got to
snow is
expect
what I
that
prob-
anyway.
Sorry?
If you're going to eat up there, you've got to expect that.
Short
That's
season, power's obviously not the cheapest and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we're not into the snow. I was probably more into it when I was overseas, and then you come home and it's probably that bit far for footy. I'd rather go for a day diving or something myself than lug my kids 5 or 6 hours down there. But we do try to get them into it. We've got a few friends out of Keen, and we try to go down once a year just so they sort of get a bit of a feel of it, I suppose. But yeah, we got pretty good snow in Canada. That just the one year we were there, they averaged, I think, from memory, like 11 metres, and we got 15 metres for the season. Like every day you'd have, you know,
powder.
fresh powder, 15, 20 centimetres, and that's like the best day of the season sort of thing here. Just got too lucky, I suppose. Anyway, we gapped it from Fernie, which was in the middle of Canada, and we moved to Vancouver Island. Island off Vancouver, funny enough.
That does make sense.
It would make sense.
It's like New Zealand's
And
North
you-
Island and South Island. What about the one underneath it? Oh, fuck, Stuart, that'll do. Yeah, it's pretty lazy names. But yeah, Vancouver Island makes sense.
Vancouver Island did make sense, and we did the summer out there, which was a Canadian summer, which was not a summer.
Still cold.
So cold, and it was quite a cool spot.
How cold?
You're
12s,
yeah.
12.
Yeah.
13, 14s, like, and it was
Like
quite
you're still
foggy
wearing
all the time.
beanie
Horrible.
and boots
And a
and
toque.
jerseys and stuff every day.
Oh no, not
Nice and
But
humid.
we were there at the summer. Like at the
camp-
start of summer.
Camping beside a bloody vegetable.
Oh my god, it's horrific.
That's very rough.
What,
We were-
someone in a hospital bed or like a plantation?
No, we made these friends in Fernie, and they were moved to Vancouver Island to this town called Tofino, which is sort of like,
It's really beautiful though.
it's a real mean spot and it's a real touristy spot, but you just can't get short-term accommodation. There's nothing at all. So we went and asked if we could stay at our mate's house, and they said, oh, the house has already got like 28 people in it, whatever. Not, but you know what I mean. And but if you want to camp in the backyard, you can. So we got a tent and we put our tent there. And the Vancouver Island is very well known for black bears
and cougars.
and cougars.
Which I found out later, like really well known for cougars.
So we're in this tent in this backyard, and they're all pretty good as long as you don't put food close, because the bears is coming for food. They're not that like interested in people, just food. Just keep food away anyway.
But we're in like a 4-man tent. Like it wasn't even like a compartment tent. It was like everything living in this little tiny, cheap $30 Walmart 4-man tent.
And
And
there
like
for like a month, and then after a month
This
we got
cougar-proof
asked.
tent.
This cougar-proof tent. We're there for like a month, and then after a month, then we got asked to take out the vegetables into the compost bin, and we've literally like
walked 3 meters from our
3
tent,
meters
and I was
around
just
this
like,
bush, and there's just the compost.
so we moved inside.
What?
It's straight away I was like, no, we're living inside. I'll sleep on the
still never
floor.
seen
I
one there,
don't
eh?
care.
We still never seen one in Tofino, a black bear in
They
town.
were probably
I saw
There'd be
Correct.
signs, like there'd be school, like say the Whitianga school or whatever, and there'll be signs saying like, you're not allowed to let your kids walk to school on these at the moment because he's cougar sighted.
Yeah, they
So
had
adults, because even cougars are so clued up, they'll just see a kid that hasn't got an adult and they'll go for it.
They've
So you
got,
have to
like,
walk
the
your kids
highest-
to the school. It was pretty.
Yeah. They've got the highest success rate in kills for any animal.
Any predator in the
Like
world.
they're actually
Cougars.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Wow.
If it attacks something, it's 97% it'll kill
And
it
it'll
get
stalk
it.
you for quite some
Oh,
time.
no, I've heard a different animal
Sniper.
before, so I'm gonna look this up and find out.
Which one? Which one?
See, I've heard the most successful hunter of all time is a dragonfly, because they don't attack the thing. They
Like even if you're right,
I'm not just a
sorry.
joke.
Even
Yeah.
if you're right, it's
That's
funny.
like carnivore.
They have-
Carnivore? Is
they
that
have
Okay,
the-
maybe it's
carnivore?
out of
they
the
have the ability
carnivores.
because I think that it's like a 98% success rate
Ooh,
because they
that's
fly
high.
directly. They predict the pathway, so they don't fly it. They don't chase it. They go to where it's going to be, and so they're one of the only people who can do it outside of humans.
Did you Google it?
They are an insect, not an animal.
He said there is an insect. Oh, that's why they mentioned carnivores.
Yeah.
So
Carnivores,
we gotta see
yeah.
where
They've
we're gonna go.
reclassified it because they're backing out of their. I was actually thinking we'd probably talk to John Wright and say if we want to get attendance up, let's just release a couple of wild cougars in the community, get
Hey,
people into
running.
school on time. Go 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 go. Put it out in Cook Drive Coupe, put up the signs, see how long it takes for people to get to school.
You're a cougar, Hayley, you can get out there.
I like it.
Oh, he was busy. That's why.
Here we go. Here we go.
Thanks.
Hey.
Oh, the dad jokes are on a roll.
What was the most dangerous situation that you guys have been with an animal? Not even like of an attack, but something, or maybe an attack, or something that was kind of like, shit. Ooh.
What, 250,000 hungry kingfish?
No, that's been nothing too scary. My dangerous about an animal. It's a good question.
Could have been that time that I was dumb enough to wave KFC out the car in Canada.
Fantastic.
had
It
that.
started so well.
Okay.
Homeless man jumps on the car.
You just mentioned cougars and bears, and then you talk about.
We pulled into
Wait.
this rest area outside of Vancouver, I don't know, a couple of hours, and there was a black bear scene, and we stopped, and we were just eating our KFC, and this black bear just came up to the window right there, and they had this little
Wind it
gap.
up, wind it up,
But it
wind it
didn't
up.
really attack us, or it
No,
wasn't
Did you
it
give
was
him
sniffing
the?
us.
Did you give it the KFC?
don't know.
You holdouts. That's what my kids would say, holdouts.
Yeah, but if you feed them, you're pretty much giving them a death sentence.
So as in, if you feed them that piece and someone else feeds them another piece, they'll stop hunting for themselves.
Well, they start knowing that food comes from cars. So then they start going to cars, and then people freak out, and before you know it, it's been shot.
So your solution is to tease them
Yeah.
so they learn that all cars are
And
assholes.
point at
That's actually a pretty good idea.
and point at the restaurants.
They should
Tease
say
them, and
that.
then you.
That should be a nationwide. All the birds you get in the South Islands, don't feed them. Just pretend to feed them,
Yeah.
and then don't, and they'll get real pissed off.
And then they'll never come to you again. They'll
a
just be
bloody
like,
good
"Ugh,
incentive."
bloody car. I'll just go down the road and actually find a
Department of
squirrel or something."
Conservation, we've got a plan for you. Just ask everyone to be an asshole for the summer season, be an asshole for the winter season.
Imagine if it worked with seagulls. You'd never have to worry at the cafes again.
Hey, they're nuts, eh? They're crazy.
Nuts.
Another sound effect for you.
Thank you.
Good impersonation.
Taylor said that you were right with the
Dragonfly.
dragonfly. Yeah, 98%. Taylor, is that what it is?
95. Oh, I was off by a
95.
What's
3.
cougar then? Cougar must be up there.
But check the carnivores, man.
I
I'm
feel
going to
like-
say carnivore
Carnivores,
cougar. I'm going to
please.
say,
Yeah, that's
I
cool,
sort of
that's
guess
cool.
it's 67. That's my guess.
No, it's in the 80s. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's in the
Sure it's up
80s.
there. I'm going to find that book and going to
That's cool.
tag you guys in it. They found one in Victoria while we were there, Victorian Vancouver
Yeah,
Island. And
downtown
no one
in the
even
city, and no one saw it. It got found in an underground car park.
Had
No
Queen
one-
Victoria been there on the island?
I'm picking.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Black-footed cats.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's good.
What's
Say-
sorry?
What have we done?
Black-footed cats are the most.
Black-footed cats, the most one. Is that a list that you can see there, or no? You
A
just got
black-footed
the
cat.
Wow,
Never heard of that animal.
black-footed cat.
Yeah, can you just dip your...
Is it a cougar? Like,
You're doing something on the screen. I was going to say, could you just paint
Felines
your
are
cat's
vicious.
feet?
Regardless of that, it makes a lot of sense that a cougar would be a beast and
Yeah.
very effective.
I don't know, because you see the amount of, David Attenborough commercials. The cougar is now jumping on. Oh, it gets away. I just fast forwarded. It goes on 5 minutes of hunting scene. They always miss. And it's really shocking when they do get it. And you get your kid to watch it and they learn something about nature.
Oh, I always make my kids watch David Attenborough. I'm like, sit down and watch this guy. He's not going to be here for much longer.
Damn it, that's not what.
Oh, no, they're not even there. This is embarrassing
It is
now.
embarrassing.
Can we edit this out?
Maybe they are 11. Or in Canada. Maybe we have to look for in
The
Canada.
domestic cat. The domestic cat outstrips you. I actually like it. The domestic cat outstrips wolves. That's really embarrassing.
People cannot see.
Oh, people cannot see so can you just say it for us?
So at the
Fabian?
top is cougar. So
Cougar at the top, and then
And that's all that matters.
champion, and then first
I
place.
feel like the black-footed cat's a cougar. Where's my phone? Let's Google it.
It is
So number one is African
Look at the
wild
picture.
dogs with 85% successful kills. The black-footed cat, 60%.
Hang on, but that says
the cheetah.
dogs.
Sorry.
So I feel like they're talking about a pack here, which isn't really fair because it's not an individual.
If you Google for long enough, you'll find cougar.
You'll find it. I think so too.
It's been enough time. I like
Anyway,
wolf-
so
wolf-
I
we're
really
in-
like
we're
the
in Canada
domestic.
for a
I
while.
really like the domestic cats being. Do
32
you guys
is
have a
successful.
cat?
No.
No, dogs, cat. No.
Well,
No, we had a pet
maybe if you had a
rabbit.
cat, you'd learn
Yeah,
about
we had a
cougars.
rabbit.
We did have a pet rabbit and
Hmm.
it died not long ago. I don't know, 6 months ago.
Mark, great with the animals, man. You great. I'm just come. The girls are, where are the girls? Are they all right?
It's a bad time to classify humans as animals, isn't it? Let's just
Come on, man. Just roll with me, brother. Come on. Okay, Canada. But then, where are we going after Canada? I'm just going with
Well,
the journey.
we were
We came back here actually. That was when we came back to Glass Bottom Boat
Yeah.
for the first time.
And you hopped in the van with your mates and
Yeah.
you did
the old
World
shitty
Cup.
van.
Yep,
Yeah.
the shitty van, and
Hey.
did the World Cup trip around New Zealand, and then I went to Tonga.
yeah.
What was the World Cup? Whose World Cup?
New
Rugby
Zealand.
World Cup 2011. That's when me and a mate bought a van and we'd sort of seen other World Cup. Went to 2007 in France, and then we just said it's in New Zealand. Let's just do New Zealand. So we started in Bluff and drove it to Cape Reinga and went to every game we could in between. And New Zealand won. Obviously,
I
back
didn't know they played in Bluff or Cape Reinga. That's
They didn't play. I played a game in Invercargill. We went to. Well, there was 48 games in the World Cup, and we did 19 of them.
Oh,
that's a good effort.
That
Yeah.
was a pretty good effort. We didn't really care who it was. It was
Did you see
Romain.
any of the All Blacks? Any of those games?
Everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah, all
So you didn't really care which game you saw, except we just so happened to see all the All Blacks ones. Just
But all of them
coincidentally.
were mostly in Auckland, to be fair. Auckland, Hamilton.
Brings the numbers.
Yeah, Wellington had one. Anyway.
On Christchurch?
No. Could be wrong, Google. I'm probably wrong again.
Yeah.
Were you in France as well when you went for the World Cup? Were you in? Did you
I
go
went
to
to France, but Hayley didn't go to France. No, I didn't know Hayley by then. It was back in the
Did
day.
you care
We
about
went to
rugby
Japan.
before?
No,
Japan.
so her first game was the semi-final, All Blacks Australia.
Oh, that would have been nice.
That was quite awkward for her. 'cause
It was
she
quite awkward.
like,
I was sitting
knew All
amongst
Blacks.
all these All Blacks people, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "So what's happening? So what does that? What does that mean? What does that mean?" And Mark's just like looking at me, just shut up, let me watch the game. And in front of us, there was these real hardcore All Blacks fans, and I'm sitting there in my Australian top. And the lady in front is like, "Get him! Rip his fucking head off! Get him!" And I'm just sitting there like, "Holy cow!" Like,
Whack on
what have I?
rugby.
What have I stepped into?
So you intentionally wore an Australian top. You were probably asking for it.
Well, I am Australian. So
Although there is that thing
from
that you're
Exmouth.
not let.
I'm from
you know,
Exmouth, if you haven't heard.
So that's 14. Yep.
Yeah.
I suppose that does come in the debate. You know, you can wear whatever you like. As a woman, you can wear whatever you like. But there's a context for that, isn't there? If you choose to wear an international opposition sports team at a semi-final of a World Cup with two countries that seem to take this game seriously,
And kind of,
I think that's your own fault.
yeah. Well, anyway, so that was my first rugby game. I haven't worn an Australian shirt at a rugby game since.
Because they lost, and that's your fault.
No,
No, All Blacks
probably
fan,
because
really.
I didn't do rugby before moving to New Zealand. It was more AFL. So
What are the rules in that game?
I tried playing it. It's
you can
hectic.
run, you can bounce, you
Hectic.
can handball, you can go forward, you can throw the ball forward. Yeah.
It just looks like chaos. But yeah, people obviously like it and support it.
Yeah,
and
it
there's
is-
a fan
Fans
base.
do.
It is a good.
And some weird Irish, and that's about it.
It is a good game. It is a good game. But so yeah, I was all AFL and then came here and now I'm all rugby. I don't really know many of the AFL players and stuff anymore. So I kind of feel like my adoptive country is New Zealand for rugby. So I just wear All Blacks or the Japan jersey.
The Japan.
Why Japan? You said you went there.
Yep, we went there for the World Cup and watched a New Zealand game. We watched a Japan game and a Springbok game.
Did Japan win a game at some point?
Yeah, they won most of
the
them.
quarterfinals.
Yeah.
First time
Yeah.
they've ever
That was
won.
awesome.
Played really
Yeah,
good.
it was awesome.
It was insane.
Although we thrashed them at some point, right? 100 or something.
Not in that one. We went to the opening game versus Russia, and they won, and they beat Ireland. They beat big teams, and it was obviously at home, so it was awesome. We were there for a week.
Red and white, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those
And they had
images.
2 Kiwi coaches, which was pretty cool.
And I'm pretty sure half of the players aren't actually from
Yeah,
Japan.
some of the names weren't too
How
Japanese.
dare you?
Where were you mainly in Japan?
We flew into Tokyo and just stayed there. We had 6 2019s. We're there for like 6 nights, and we didn't. We had the thoughts of doing a few quick trip around, and we're like, let's just fly
let's just
in,
enjoy
stay there for
the
6
area.
days and fly home.
You enjoy the food?
Awesome.
Japanese food, yeah.
I wasn't too much of a fan. I'd never done Asia, Japan, and I was just like sort of umming and ahhing. But yeah, I'd love today. It was
You're a fish person, both of you, sort of on coast,
Yeah.
right? So raw fish, was it really a big thing, or raw foods?
I don't eat raw fish.
We didn't eat much raw fish over there. We had
But the movies say that it's very raw. You're telling us the movies lie?
pretty much.
There
And
is
Google
I
it.
had
heaps
some.
of,
I had some.
Yeah, yeah.
there is heaps of raw fish
Yeah,
and stuff over there, but I don't eat raw fish. And I also don't eat fish that's caught commercially and stuff either. So I just kind of stuck
You
with
prefer to be the one responsible for the death.
Halo pretty much
It makes
eat fish
more
as well.
sense.
Sorry to phrase it that way, but that's really...
It makes more sense. It was the last place that I ate fish in my life, till now. Japan.
Did you throttle it by hand?
was in
Or?
Japan. Not at all. They were coming in plates on a treadmill kind of
train.
thing, and you're just
Yeah.
like, and then you put your plates up, and then you pay.
Yeah, they
per
pay
plate.
the plates, hey? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
man.
That
they
was
scan the
genius.
bottom of
They
them.
think of everything in Japan. We
Yeah.
were in the subway and there's this vacuum cleaner going around and it hits the stairs and me and the mates are watching it going, haha, it's hit a stair. Then these like 2 wheels just come out of it and it just starts climbing the stairs. We're like, these guys thought of everything.
Everything. Yeah. I had that same feeling, when I was there. Like everything for the money, for the change already comes to you. There's no one counting. Like all the little things that you would think, could be better. Like it's there.
It's a
just
real cool
nailed it.
country.
It's
It's a
happening
real
there.
cool country. It's clean. It's like a
clean.
it's a
Friendly,
tidy
yes.
country. Yeah, and they're friendly. Yeah.
Did you get people coming? Well, it was the World Cup, so probably a lot
People
was happening.
everywhere.
Like people coming to take a picture, kind of like wanting to interact with you guys, speak English and that kind of stuff, or was it more
Probably
of a
just
Not
party?
too
many,
much,
too
not
many
too much.
already
messages, I
happening,
suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I was there, I don't know if it's because I'm tall and I was walking with like an American dude. Like he had a different face, and a lot of people would kind of come and like just wanting
yeah.
to have a chat. Like I know a little bit of English. Like just happy to try to
And did you
interact.
respond, I know a bit little
Yeah,
as well.
I know less than you probably, but let's
don't
go,
speak
let's do
English.
it. Yeah, but it was fun. It was a lovely country.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I'd like to take my kids back. I'd really like to
What
take my
age
kids
is a
back.
good age though? Because my wife and I want to take our kids. We're trying to. What's the best age?
We were just having this conversation. So the other day when Mark was on the boat, we had a family, so 2 adults and 2 kids. They came out and they were talking to Mark. Where were they from?
They were Kiwis, but they were living in the UK. Both architects, and it was just them on the boat, for memory. And I said, what's your sort of story, blah, blah. And they were architects in London, and they got put into lockdown, so they got sent home to work in London, and they were there for, 6 weeks in the middle of winter, and they thought, this is crap. If we can work from home, let's take our 2 daughters home who are like 8 and 10, and let's fly home to New Zealand, and we can travel New Zealand, and they can work, because they're obviously 12-hour difference. They can work at nights-ish, start now, 7, 8 o'clock, work till 2 or 3, have a bit of a sleep, and then the next day they're in New Zealand, they can take their kids on a bit of an adventure, and that's what they were doing. So I was chatting to them for 2 hours on a glass bottom boat trip, and they were asking questions about fish, but I was just like, me and Hayley both often talked about doing more travelling, because we haven't really been anywhere
Especially with our kids.
with our
Yeah.
kids, and I was sort of chewing their brain on what they did, and I was like, you asked what the age or the perfect age is, I was like, our kids are 5 and 6, which are, they started to grasp things but not grasp things, but those kids were 8 and 10, and they were on the boat, and they had a thing, they got to do a fact a day, and everywhere they'd travel around, they'd try to find just something to teach them and stuff. And we said, hey, let's do that when our girls are 8 and 9 or 9 and 10. Let's have a sabbatical. Let's take our winter off, which is pretty quiet anyway, from like maybe May to September. And I'd happily go and do somewhere, ideally Northern Hemisphere, which is summer, do Canada again, or maybe Europe or something. And
Canada, go somewhere that's still cold.
well, not in the summer.
You don't have to buy
Just back.
clothes.
It
yeah.
gets pretty hot over there, eh? I was
Yeah,
quite blown
that's
away.
right.
We got like 30-something degrees
Oh, yeah.
regularly in the southern Canada, yeah. But
We've
not
got-
Vancouver Island, so yeah,
That's what it's called. We've got friends in Calgary and friends in Vancouver, and I have a cousin in Chicago. So it kind of almost made sense to be kind of around them so we could include them in the holiday. But then it would be cool to go somewhere that we've never been and share that full experience with the kids.
Did your cousin vote for Trump?
She's
I
Australian.
think she did.
Can she even vote?
Woo!
Good
I-
question.
She's
I think
Australian.
her husband might have, yeah.
2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember that night? That day?
A little bit.
No.
No, I do. I remember that day a little bit, but I don't really know. From what my cousins have told me is since he came in, things have slightly improved.
He's not anymore, though, obviously.
Yeah, but things had improved slightly, like the employment, the unemployment rate.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently that was a little bit better, and because he was kind of running it more like a business, little things had improved, but there was definitely things that were still a major
the big
issue.
picture was a bit more messy.
I can remember
Yeah.
when
Local,
the election,
yeah.
was it 2016, was it? We had on the glass bottom boat, and we had
both people on the boat.
and we had Americans, obviously, and it's just easy to talk about it. And we had, I don't know, 10 people on the boat, and they had 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and they were both for Clinton and Trump. And it was just like, first 15 minutes in, away they go, and it's like and they're just such opposites. And you're trying to talk about fish and rocks, and it was just like, so
Man.
hectic.
I bet you get a lot of that, say, just like
Yeah, used to,
different
obviously
stories,
pre-COVID when
different-
you had internationals, and it was always good to relate. If they, as soon as they say they're Canadian or somewhere I'd been, it was sort of easy. You know, Americans are sort of, you'd always play fun with Americans and ask them whereabouts that is, and they'd always say, I'm from Texas. You're like, what country is that from? And they're like, look at you like, think you're stupid as, but we always play games with Americans. They just think America is the world.
Hold up. I think this is the point where I really want to ask.
Ask.
I want to know, what the hell is the glass bottom boat? Tell me more. I've never been on it. I've seen the signs.
So
I've seen the
just-
advertisements. I
just
want to
be-
go there.
Did you not
before-
get the invitation today?
He was working.
I was working.
He was working. So
Some
Taylor
of
and
us
I.
work 5 days a week.
So Taylor, I know, right? So
He's
just
been here since he's 5 years old.
so I said this last show, and I'm gonna say it again. There are companies in Australia and New Zealand. We need to get the article and say the names and everything to show support. That are gonna they're gonna do the trial for the 4 days work and 3 days rest. It's happening in I think 4 or 5 countries, and New Zealand and Australia are very strong on the initiative. The production is the same. You got to commit to deliver what you would deliver in 5 days anyway, but the pay is the same, and yet you work for 4 days. So
Bigger
they-
hours or just...
Yeah, for some companies it will be adaptable, but some others they will see if the workers actually cope with, because sometimes if you know that you have time to kill, you're gonna
Milk it out,
space your hours. But for some other people, if you know that you're gonna have an extra day off, you might even produce a bit more. So that's the trial, that's the thing. So just to bring that to the table, which is cool. ALTBAYS supports that. At the moment, Taylor and I are working fucking 10 days a week.
That doesn't make sense mathematically.
I know, it's a joke.
No, maybe the numbers don't work in Brazil.
Horrible joke, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Carry on.
So I want to know the glass bottom boat, because I've seen the signs everywhere.
We had time and we went this afternoon and it was beautiful. So we have a story on our Instagram and on Glass Bottom Boat, obviously all the pictures and videos, but they also reposted. So have a look.
Can you
What
clarify?
is-
So a story is when you put videos or photos together in a small album or like a feed?
It lasts for 24 hours. I
Okay.
think now some of them are going to have an extension of 48, but like it's a 10, 15 second thing that you can watch what the person is doing or has done and then it disappears.
So it's like a post, like a normal social
Post,
media
but it
post that just disappears.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
story. So it's in the
an
Instagram
Instagram
story.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm not up with the play. So what is the glass bottom boat? What do you do? It's literally take me ground roots because I've never been on it.
It's pretty much Hayley
okay,
like
so
50
we're a
times a day.
2-hour boat trip, and we depart from the wharf and we just follow the coastline down towards Aotearoa Sea Cave, which is close to Hot Water Beach. And in that 2 hours, we look at rocks, and we talk about the geology, how the rocks are formed, what sort of rock it is, how the cave was formed. We also stop at Cathedral Cove, which is inside the marine reserve, and we spend a bit of time there looking at the marine life and talking about sustainability, conservation, talk about the marine life that you see, and then
bit of history.
bit of history, and we also do some snorkeling.
You talk about the marine life because we have people that watch from all around the world, believe it or not, but actually they do. So there's a sanctuary zone, a non-fish zone. What's that called?
The marine reserve.
The marine reserve. So
Yeah.
we have a reserve, so you get to go straight through that?
Yeah, we're allowed to go into the marine reserve. So the marine reserve is a no-take zone.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in there and participate in like recreational activities like snorkeling or kayaking or
Speedboats?
swimming,
Yeah.
speedboats, jet skis.
Got it. Bet you
Yeah.
love them.
Love
Yeah,
it.
they're my favourite. Yeah.
Sarcastic?
Yeah, cool.
But there is a no-take zone. So there's no fishing. You can't take seaweed. You can't take rocks. You can't take anything like that. You're not allowed to interfere with the marine life. So even like catching stuff and letting it go, you're not allowed to do anything like that either.
So for the...
How big is the area? Sorry.
Oh, good.
Oh,
How
that
big
is
is
the you. Isn't
Ish.
It grew,
9
right?
square
It got
kilometres?
bigger now, right?
How many?
Recently?
They're
Yeah.
about 9 square
looking at it.
kilometres, but
90?
they are
Sorry.
9.
9.
9.
Sorry.
So they are looking at extending it. At Hahe, there's Maharangi Island, and the marine reserve stops at the northern end of Maharangi Island, northeast end of Maharangi Island, but they're looking at extending it beyond there as well. There's a little area, it's called, what's the, where the black coral is?
Oh, so I'm not sure. Hapuka Rock.
Oh, Hapuka Rock, yeah. So there's actually black coral on there, and black coral is really, really special. You only find it in real deep water where there's low light. You do find it like down in Fjordland, but we have some here on Hapuka Rock, and it's really, really fragile. So they're looking at extending it around that, which would be great. Yeah.
Nice. So you said that you can't interfere with it. So if we went out Buffalo Beach on, recently the seaweed came back at one point. Oh, it's all on the beach. So you can't go collect that all up, get
Well,
on
you're
your
not
boat,
in a
and
marine
Buffalo Beach
drop
you
it off.
can.
You're not in a marine reserve at
What does it
Buffalo
mean?
Beach.
Can I collect it all off the beach?
Yep.
Get on your boat and drop it off the marine reserve to give more seaweed, or is that interfering?
No,
Well,
it's called disturbance. You can't get done for disturbing. It's
And
like
that seaweed's
feeding
dead.
or even grabbing something. You're not allowed done. Yeah, they can supposed to do you for disturbance. It's not just taking, but I've never heard of anyone getting done for disturbance. But the rule is you can't disturb the wildlife, so you can't go down and grab a bit of seaweed and throw it back in or something. But
Man, it's this main boat with glass at the bottom, and then you see everything, and then you're like,
Well,
whoa,
'cause I know
whoa, look at that. And some of these snappers, they're old school, man. Even their face, they're like
They're
ancient
old.
guys. You're like, look at that guy, he must be like the top gangster of the thing. And then Mark says, he's probably 35 years old, and you're like, whoa, shit, it's beautiful. Is that
Older
right?
than you.
Yeah,
he
some
had
of
his
them.
birthday last week. That one actually.
Hey, big one, hey, and he was like a bit like kind of like he was swimming and kind of like grooving at the same time and checking us out because they would eat us. So the vegetarians, hey, it's true. Hey, wasn't it? The vegetarians, they were at the bottom. They didn't give a fuck about us. But the snappers, they were checking us out, man. And they were like, like you don't know who was checking who out, but I think the snappers were ready to catch us.
You need to get more sleep.
I've been sleeping well, man.
It's pretty good. It's 2 hours and it's just
It's
jammed.
very nice.
And it's just, we find if you go much longer, people are just over it. Even if it was amazing stuff, 2 hours is about people's limitation. If you go much shorter,
You miss out on
you're
stuff.
running from, you're screaming from Whitianga and Hotwater Beach. You're missing some pretty cool stuff. In summer, we do offer a snorkel, which chews up quite a bit of time. But yeah, if you haven't done it, it's pretty cool. On a good day, obviously weather and water clarity is a huge part of our business. When the weather's good and the water's good and the fish and the animals come to play, it can be a fairly impressive 2 hours, but it's just
You've
trying
got
to-
all your magic tricks of, we'll just go to this side of this island or this side of this rock.
Well, that's what makes it so lucky for a tour to make money is that we can go out in most conditions, and if the wind's blowing from that direction, there's a lot of islands we can like what
Hide.
we did today was sort of a great day. We can go everywhere and see everything. But some days when the wind's from that direction, we can't go there. We'll spend longer here or longer there. When it's really bad and the water's been heaps of rain and it's really rough, we just leave the floor down and we just do all scenic, all topside. So you've still got all the caves and the trees and the cathedral coves and.
Do you know
all
who
the
owns all
history.
the $1 million mansions on the hilltops?
We know a few
Some
of
of
them.
them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been up to one of them, but not all of them. But You just try to make a trip out of it. I mean,
Do you make some of the stories up?
yeah, a couple of times.
Oh,
100%. Like, well, just if you have a look up there, that's our holiday house. Like, oh, look,
said
I
that
can
today.
see my cleaner cleaning my windows.
Yeah, it's just trying to make the best of what you got for 2 hours and you go back in and drop people off. And when it's busy, you go back out again and start all again.
Because my daughter went out with Mercury Bay Area School,
Oh.
and she was on the
Orca
delayed orcas. And so that was pretty cool. So I saw
That
a
was awesome.
snapshot of, I think it was Mrs. Perry, Rebecca going, "Oh my God," just shrieking with glee. All of a sudden, there it is! Oh! All the kids screaming and running around trying to find the different bits. And then all of a sudden you see a tail and everyone's going, "Ah, the tail!" And
Yeah, it's
it was the
pretty awesome.
highlight of their day, seeing a tail.
It was a pretty good day. We've obviously had that locked in for, as you know, weeks and weeks and weeks and
Well,
weeks.
it was meant to be
and
in
we knew
term
that they
one.
were obviously a local school, so we did have the time on our side. If we cancel, we probably could have gone on other days, but it was going to be a bit rough, or we couldn't have gone to all those places. But because we put it off, and it's going to be a bit windy today, and they're obviously local, and we put it off, and then the day we said let's go, it was the perfect fork. It was like today, so it was this glass. And then just before we left, a friend rang me and said, "I've just seen some. I'm with orcas right now at Devil's Point, which is sort of not the direction
on our
we
route.
go. We normally go right to Holder Beach, and this is sort of left towards Aotearoa Bay." And then we were talking with the other skipper and the staff, and as soon as they heard a whisper, like, there's only a chance we'll see them, but there's a chance, and you don't get them very often anywhere in the world, let alone Whitianga. So let's go, let's take a stab. We went out. We actually gave up, and we couldn't find them. So we sort of, we're running out of time. We had the next group in an hour. So then we left the supposedly orca area and drove back towards Cathedral Cove, and sort of halfway back,
They popped up.
just popped up in front of us. So the expectation was like right up here,
So
and
like-
then we brought it right back down to nothing.
So when you
and
went
then-
right into nothing, we were just thinking that bastard who's lying. Is
I knew
playing a
that would
trick
be
on
there.
us.
It is, but
You
it's,
didn't even tell the kids like that it was a possibility.
Well, we
They
sort
knew.
of did, because
Yeah.
we sort of hit it this way.
and
a
it's
few
also
people were like,
really hard to hide the excitement. Like with our crew, everyone's like, "Come on, we've got to go, get on the boat, blah, 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 safety, blah, 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 we've got to go." And they can see that you're really excited and there's something happening.
And we still get excited about it too, and that's what sort of makes it, I think. Like when you do get a day like that, like if Hayley's on the boat, me, Hayley, and the other staff, we're still. I've been on trips and seen orcas before, and the customers are sort of like
Never gets
blasé.
old.
And it's like
Never
I'm
gets
more
old.
excited than the kids, and I've seen these quite a few times. But yeah, that's what makes it.
And you wouldn't dive in and have a little snorkel around them?
I'm not allowed to.
You're not allowed to. But I've been in the water before, and orca have come up to me.
Out of the
That's-
Mercs.
Out of the Mercs,
Oh,
absolutely.
they're not allowed to. They need to go away.
Yeah,
They
they,
need to,
don't
but
know
yeah,
the
the hell
rules.
they
That's their fault.
Yeah. Tell
Well, that's
Doc
pretty
on
cool.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I felt it was so hard with that school group because I wanted the weather to be perfect. So in my mind, like I'm going to have these 60 little kids come out on the boat. We're going to teach them about the marine reserve. We're going to set them free into the world, and they're going to be like little like eco warrior minions and take over the world and look after the ocean and blah blah blah. So when the weather was really bad, like I was sitting there at home just like, oh my God, these poor little kids are not going to get to come out, but they can't come out if it's not perfect.
They're all
because
sitting there in the classroom crying.
I
And we,
know.
and we knew a few
You
of them,
couldn't give
and
them
the parents were just like, "Oh, they're so gutted today." We're like, and we
And
know what
I-
it's like. We've got the kids that be like so pumped on doing something other than school, or
Oh, and I see these kids all the time. Like, honestly, like they're at Ripper or they're at swimming or they're at all these things that I go to, and they're like, "Oh, we were supposed to come out with you today." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're breaking my heart, but sorry." But it just worked out perfect. Like the way it worked in the long run was perfect. To see orca, like some of these kids had never been on a boat before. This was their first boat experience ever, and they got to see orca in the wild. So it was it was amazing.
it's like two.
So now my
there's
little
a very
minions
small
are gonna
number
go
in
out.
New Zealand, let alone to. I mean, I've done thousands of trips out of here, and they've probably seen them. We say we see them sort of 8 to 10 times a year, ish. So once a month, ish, and we saw them 3 times in one day. It was we went out there, seen them, come back in, dropped the kids off, got new kids, went back out there. They could be gone. They're probably gone. To be
Nope,
fair,
there they are.
There they are. Well, everyone gets to see orca again. And the last group was like so much expectation because seen them twice. We come back in, left them. We better find them, and we got like another 6 kids and 2 teachers, and they're like, well, and anyway, to see them 3 times in that day
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
It was like the
And their local
universe was
kids.
rewarding them for being patient. Yeah.
Look at that.
Ocean
figure.
karma.
That's
Ocean
a happy
karma.
ending. That's cool.
No.
It is nice.
Was Bonnie on that one?
Bonnie's on one of the ones where she got it. She was pretty happy. Pretty stoked. We swam with dolphins. Wharekau, Simpsons Beach.
Oh, right.
Would have been August 2020, sort of the lockdown year. We went out there just for a walk, and Bonnie's, I can see dolphins. Like, no, you can't. No, I can see. No, you can't. Turn around. Well, there's a huge pod of dolphins. So we just ran down. A few people in the campground. Just stripped off in Mondays. Sort of carried my Bonnie on there, and then Wallace wanted to go in, so we just ran in fully clothed. So my wife had to run in after him fully clothed. So they were wearing puffer jackets and we sort of winter clothing, and I'm there shivering with a half naked, but right around you.
Yeah.
And they actually do flips. Like it was like the movie version. They actually do things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty intelligent. I've swum with dolphins and whales a few times, and they just look, when you see them in the eye, there's something about it. You know that it's looking at you. It's just that intelligence.
And I think we tried to count about 30 there were more than 30 that were around us. And the fact that they had tricks was just mind blowing. But they're big. Like you think, oh yeah, like maybe like 2 meters long.
No,
but then,
bottlenose are
but then
big.
they're just muscle.
Yeah.
Like it's one giant bicep, like your costume the other night.
Yes.
Just pure muscle. Bloody terrifying. And you get that small doubt of, it is a dolphin, right?
Yeah.
It is a dolphin. Like I'm not just walking my
As
daughter
long as
out.
the tail goes that
fresh
way,
meat.
not that way. That's the most important thing.
So would you see them more often, the dolphins?
We do see them more often than orcas. Yep.
Commonplace, boring now.
No, I still get a buzz on it. If there was dolphins out there today, I'll be still taking photographs and ringing people, and it's still pretty much why I still do what I do, I suppose. I still get excited about it. The dolphins and orcas would be the coolest thing. And then every now and then, like once a year, you might see a whale. Whales are pretty hit and miss. You'd never really...
There was quite a few whales this
Yeah,
year.
last year was a fairly good whale season for Whitianga. But we're quite in calm water and shallow water. They're normally, in this part of New Zealand, they're normally further offshore.
Last year, actually,
But as soon as...
I called Shark because there was, you may know the orca that has a big bite out of its fin.
Pickle,
there you go. So we saw, there's a fin there. It's black. And then another one. And they're going towards the surface.
Epic.
Shit, it's missing. Like it looked like a bite. And I'm going, geez, the sharks bite each other. Don't know what happened to Pickle. Apparently he's been there for years, long time.
Yeah, Pickles, and that's
Funky Monkeys pod.
Sister or brother or something. We know a couple of names off them, but only because they've got real distinctive dorsal fins.
Yeah,
That's the only way. And Pickles have got half a dorsal fin. And
So I was literally the person screaming, shark, shark. And they sort of go, what? One guy comes in and he's like, what do you mean? And the other guys go, shit, Finn's going right beside him. So he just body surfs his way in. And they go, oh no, we know them. We've surfed with them before. Like,
We know them.
jeez. I think that's when you're local. When you know the whales. When you know the whales by name. Fuck off.
He's inspired tonight, man. He's on fire.
Get your hand off that button.
So how is the thing with the Coromandel, like with looking after and respecting the Marines? Like, do you guys see problems happening often? People coming from other parts of the country?
I think it's pretty good. It's just summer gets pretty hectic up here. There was some statistics out there I was reading a while ago about the Waikato, which is obviously up here, and the Auckland, the Hauraki's quite close. Like the amount of boat traffic they're preparing to see in the next 20, 30 years is just... Everyone comes to the Coromandel effectively for the ocean. It's not always for boating, but for surfing or for swimming. But the big attraction is to bring a boat, and it's just getting pretty hectic out there. But it's only for those... probably month, really. The end of December, school holidays, sort of mid-December to end of January. It can, like, we just sort of stick to our Cathedral Cove route, but it just...
So many boats.
What are the main problems that brings? Is it like just it disturbs? There's pollution for the oil. There's people doing illegal fishing.
I think the illegal fishing's fine. The pollution's fine. It's just a lot of first timers.
A lot of people have no idea.
And they're all coming out at that same time. Like if you went out today, which you're out, like if you're a first timer, there's no drama because there's no one out there. You've got the whole ocean effectively to yourself on a calm Friday in June, but everybody's got those Boxing Day tours and they come out on the 28th of December because it's the only, especially if you get like rough seas and you get like 2 days of good weather. It could be the 28th, 29th of December and you've just got 2 days, perfect forecast. And you've just got, I don't know what the stats would be 1,000, 2,000 boats. And everyone's going out and everyone's having a few beers and it's just, it gets, I haven't seen anything too dramatic myself, but a lot of close calls, people just doing things like, areas which are there'd be like rocks. You know, there's rocks that you don't go close to there, and you just see boats going. Woof, woof, and you're like so close that something could easily go wrong.
And everything impacts around you because it was funny today. You said, "Oh, the guy doing the donuts, trying to sell the boats," like, and it was far, but like it didn't take much that actually affected us, you know. So that you were like, "Whoa, okay, wow." So
and you do get big boats.
It's the big boats that are the problem.
Class boat boats aren't a big boat; they're like 9-ish meters, but you get boats that are like 19 meters, like easily double that. And you don't have to have a license in New Zealand to drive a boat. As long as it's your own boat and you're not taking out a paying customer, you can go and buy a boat tomorrow, and it can be this massive boat, and away you go. Just go for it.
And after COVID, people can't go overseas and they can't do this, and they've got spare cash, so they buy a boat.
Do you guys feel like this is the kind of thing that in other countries work better? Like how you would be able to go to
Western Australia needed to have a skipper's ticket.
You need to have a recreational one.
Yeah, recreational skipper's ticket.
So you go through.
It's a very
it's like
short
a day course, and you go through and you learn like a few skills.
Could be better. You're right. Yeah, okay.
I think it could be better. I mean, most people are good, but it's just, I don't think, they probably should just have like a 1-day course or a 2-day course. They're very basics. It's not hard. You could probably do it online or something and tick a few boxes. And
you know why I asked that? It's because I relate to the thing with driving on the other side of the road. You know, like for me, it was go for it. You know, like I had my international license and I'm renting a car and I'm driving on the other side of the road. And I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like you get used to it, but sometimes you have the thing of like not knowing what you're doing. So imagine a boat, you know, like imagine something that can
and you can't stop
fast,
and you can't stop a boat either. Like so,
no brakes
in a car, you got brakes. So you put your foot on the brakes, you stop, and that doesn't happen with the boat. You've got that momentum, so it can get quite dangerous.
Am I right that in terms of directions you pass each other is the opposite of what we do on cars, right? So you go on the right side of each other?
You pass port to port, so you're passing, if I'm driving a boat, you want to pass that other boat to my left, which so you're on the other side. But then if you're ever overtaking a boat, there are rules, but when you sort of get to those chaotic areas, just early and obvious, if you want to think you're going right, just do it early and do it obvious so the other guy coming the other way knows. Because you get sort of a couple of times where you're sort of coming and you might make a small adjustment to the left and they'll do a small to the left, and you obviously can't really, indicating it. So you just go, if I'm going to go left, just do it early, do it obvious, and the other boat goes, they're going that way, I'm going to go that way.
Also noticed something. I went on a boat recently with a couple of my old school friends, older because they're old and still friends. But one of the big things was you always wave. They're like, it's like you're you're a lollipopper. Like the biggest wrist workers in the community, endlessly just.
We'll see the same tour boat. Like we'll just leave at the same time, and we know the other tour boat obviously, and they go out and they'll stop. And you drive past, you give them a wave. We'll pull over, they'll go past, you give them a wave. Like we'll do it like 10 times a day. It's like the unwritten rule. And if you don't wave, they're like, you self.
Yeah.
Just wave 9 times.
And then I've heard though,
I'll see you in 5 minutes.
One of the big things is that if you break down, you better hope you'd wave to them earlier, because they'll come over and help you.
Bit too hand wave.
They'll be like, now you're waving.
Really energetically.
Man, is that a sensor or anything on the back of the boat, or that's you all the time doing that extra boof that gets you away from the rocks? Because I was just paying attention to the motors behind your boats, like they move quite like...
Yeah, no sensor, it's all just manual.
That's you, doing the thing the whole time. Yeah, because I was not looking at you, obviously, and then the thing would do like boop, boop. That's all you,
That's his wrist work again.
That's great.
Working it.
Working it.
And you chuck waving it too, it gets a bit hectic.
Yeah. That's because that was something that because the bottom of the boat, it shows how close you are to things. And I was like, wow, he really knows where he are, obviously. But that feeling of some people might not know because we're very close to everything. The rocks are there, the rocks are there, the rocks are there. And you're talking and doing the thing. So it makes sense when you talk about security and knowing the area, for some people. The high tide, low tide, is it the time to go? It's not.
Yeah, some people can't grasp that still. They're like, the whole tide thing, especially foreigners, they're pre-COVID, they're like, so low tide, is it at the morning or the night? I sort of can't figure. Obviously, the big draw card here is hot water beach, and they say got to go that low tide. They're like, but when is low tide? They just can't. they're never known to be close to the ocean. New Zealand as a whole is pretty lucky because everyone's been to the ocean obviously a lot because it's not that far, but get inland people or certain countries, they just have no idea about general knowledge, tides, just, it can be quite humorous. We asked on a lake before, you know. Like,
Yeah, what lake are we on?
it's like you got here on a map. Surely you can see where the map is and it's a big thing called Pacific Ocean
There's
right
a
there.
great joke we had from, I think it was Mike from Catch Charters when I went out years and years ago with him, one of his boats. And at some point he's, oh, so what's this island? Eventually you go around further around and oh, and that one's north.
Yeah.
It's just, he got me. He really got me. And I couldn't stop laughing at the stupidest joke. But it was, I didn't know it was the North Island. I was still looking around. I was listening to his nice tour of where we are. But the fact he's pointing out north. For those listening, New Zealand has two main islands, north
Yeah,
and a south. Well, strike one!
Strike one for you. So,
Joy. So,
Hayley, do you take the boat out sometimes as well? Do you go as a skipper?
No, I haven't got my ticket. I could drive the boat, but I'm not legally allowed to drive the boat.
in an emergency though, right?
In an emergency, if I had to, it would be fine. But legally, I can't skipper with customers.
Do you like it? Do you like taking the boat out? Do you feel comfortable and is that your
when
thing?
Mark and I go out on our boat, I drive our boat quite a lot, mainly because Mark's usually diving.
Is there a stigma about women drivers on boats? Is that a thing? Because obviously people made jokes about it for decades.
Yep, it's getting better.
Yeah.
We have had we've had two female skippers at one point, and we still have one female skipper now. And both of them have had things said to them on board. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
By men?
Yep.
Men that are bold enough, not women that are like
Yep.
passive.
Kind of like the old school men, you know. Yep. So
Are they offering advice on how to do it properly?
No, one guy was like, "Oh, so who's driving?" And a skipper was like, "Oh, yep, I am." And he's like, "No, really, like who's taking the boat?" And he was really uncomfortable the whole trip until the very end, where he apologised, which was fair. But yeah, they do get that. People do kind of be like, "Oh," and like our skipper Katie, like she's a small girl. She's like a small little blonde girl. So people were kind of like, "Oh, she's taking the boat. Like, oh, can we have life jackets, please?" Like you get that quite often. Yeah.
Funny,
and
okay.
they're capable. They are like
Oh,
better
I'm sure,
skippers than
100%.
some
I saw
of the
the
men out there.
description. She's a tiny little teeny like I'm
She's a little blonde girl.
I'm picturing an elf.
Yeah.
So from that's cool. That's good that you bringing that up because you. That's for Fabian. Yeah, and if you can give some to Hayley as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
From all these trips and places that you've been to, have you felt like looked down or something like from other men doing these jobs that you've been doing in all these different countries? If there was one country that treated you better or worse than
There's
the
more
other?
to Hayley than her gender, man.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because like what would you say? Oh, women
In
on
the
boats. I
Caribbean-
never heard it about being a bad thing. I would.
Yeah?
If I'm on a boat and there's a chick as a skipper, I'll be like, yeah, cool, awesome. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's. I think there's more understanding for the females that are wanting to be in these roles, and like they are really good at their roles. If you're good at your role, then no matter what sex you are, you should be in it, and that's really good. When we were in the Caribbean, Mark used to get a lot more respect than what I did. Like the island was really, really tiny, and we would go into a marine shop to get something for the farm, and they just wouldn't even talk to me. They'd just talk to Mark and serve Mark, and he would get it and come back. And sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, can you just run into that chandlery shop and grab some blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "Nah, you can do it," because I don't get the same.
Was it possible that there was a cultural thing that men shouldn't speak to women because they didn't want to get onto the men's territory or whatever? Is there, or religious reasons that they perhaps sort of
I
keep
don't
their
think
distance?
that people in the Caribbean really worry about territory too much, to be fair. But nah, I think I was just a little girl coming into the shop, and I didn't know what I was talking about. Even kind of like with our staff, they had a little bit more respect for Mark. They would back chat me a little bit more. And when it came to the putting out the little lobster traps and all that sort of stuff, I would grab the wheel and I would drive the boat, and they'd be like, no, Mark's driving the boat. I'm like, no, I'm a little bit capable. You guys are right. We're not going to die. It's fine.
And Mark, were you ever a condescending prick?
All the
a little
time.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't
just-
understand them for the first 2 months.
No, he means with me.
Yeah, and you. Couldn't understand you either.
It's the accent. It's the accent. The Exmouth accent.
Mark still tells
Just
me all the
smile and
time that I'm not good enough.
And this is actually
Here we go.
a time for an intervention.
Couples therapy.
There you go,
Here we
couples
go.
therapy.
Here you go. Tell us more, guys.
So where's your
We're just
pain in the
listening.
past that it brings up this, need to offload your aggression?
I'm not sure. Thanks for having
Well, you did grow up in Balclutha. I mean, there's a lot of... That's a pretty sad place to be. Sorry.
Man, you just went to the toilet. Look what happened. You don't know what's going on.
Right back into it.
Yeah.
I feel like New Zealand, it's much better than a lot of countries out there. I know there's still a lot to improve, but I feel like compared to other countries, it's not bad.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think, Fabian?
I arrived in Egypt as a 15-year-old, and I think you get off the aeroplane in Cairo, and you have to get off the plane, then catch a bus for 20 minutes to then get to the airport, because it's a huge airport. And I think they're like, hello, welcome to Egypt. Don't talk to anybody, don't drink our water, don't cross our roads, don't trust the police. I hope you enjoy your time here.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, what? What? So don't drink water, don't talk to anybody, don't trust the police, don't cross roads. You sort of take that for granted in New Zealand, don't you? You can drink any water, pretty much. Obviously not the ocean. Don't trust the police. We're taught to call the police here. Don't cross the roads. Easy to cross the road in New Zealand.
You don't even look for cars. You were just like,
That's right.
Children, watch this show, Hayley. That's bad advice. Please always check the roads. Look before you cross. Both ways.
Both ways. So Egypt was rough.
This is why she's bad on a boat, because she doesn't even look.
So now I'm curious. Was it good? Was it hard?
Egypt was amazing. It was there for Egypt's winter, so it was a sort of a balmy 28 degrees in Cairo. And incredibly green. Very, very green for sort of 2 kilometres either side of the Nile. And then there's literally just grass, sand. And then you're there. There's the pyramids. It's all go. Very
really?
green.
Wow.
Yeah, sugarcane fields. You just give them a
Not
couple
what I
of...
think about Egypt, eh?
Egyptian
all
pound.
You see is pyramids in your head, really.
Yeah, you do. Oh, but it's beautiful. Like the greenery is just absolutely stunning. And the sugarcane fields, all the produce they make there, beautiful. Everything's beautiful. And they really use the Nile well. They use the Nile very well to sort of irrigate everything. But you can go across. I think we paid 10 Egyptian pound. It's worth an eighth of the British pound. Just worth bugger all, a third of New Zealand. I didn't work it out. But anyway, so you guys just chops up sugarcane for you on the side of the
How
road.
delicious, eh?
It was real sweet. It tasted a lot like liquid sugar, which wasn't surprising, but it's pretty good. I think we dropped a camera in the Nile, so that'll be there as a relic. It may have made its way out by now, but
I'm sure there's a few of them there.
yeah.
The diving is pretty famous, eh? In
Red Sea, yeah.
and
never-
Obviously, I didn't do it, but
Never dived it, but yeah, I've heard good things. I'm not sure if it's just been trashed by much too many tourists, but it's one of those spots, obviously so close to Europe. Everyone goes Red Sea diving. Don't know, I'd
Much
rather go
fish.
to... Yeah, I don't know, I've never been there, can't really comment on it, but I have heard it's clean and it's warm, and that's pretty much the two... You got two things going for you already, and fish are there, then it's even a bonus sort of thing.
But yeah, highly recommend Egypt. If you get the chance to go there when there's a little less political turmoil.
It's still going on, eh? It's still quite harsh.
When you drive like on a motorway, one of the most terrifying things ever, and you see a building and it's literally half destroyed by bombs from some previous interaction, and you can see people like ants, and you realise the scale of the building. Oh yeah, there's 10,000 people in that building, and that's their homes, and they're missing walls, and you can see their entire home.
So what's the population of Egypt? Be right up there, eh?
Millions.
Yeah, like, what do you...
I wouldn't know the population. As
You sort of always think back in... He's chatting. I remember there was one guy on the Glass My Boat came out, and he's asked people where they're from, obviously all the time, and I couldn't even tell. He said this city, which I said, "Oh, what country is that?" And he's like, "It is a country," and it's a country I hadn't even heard of, and it had like 24 million people, and I've googled it and I've since forgotten it. But you're always sort of so forgotten about in this little tiny corner of the world, and not until you travel, which most Kiwis have, but you're nothing down here really. You're just this tiny little speck in the middle of nowhere.
humbling.
It is humbling until you go and you run into a Kiwi on the other side of the world. You sort of realise how small it is, but
Which is actually really common.
it is pretty common.
Yeah.
Because Kiwis obviously do travel, and you sort of can pick them out of a bunch normally.
Loud, obnoxious, silly accent. Half the
Barefoot.
time. Yeah. Jandals.
Jandals.
Yeah.
But welcomes everywhere, eh? There's this thing
Yeah.
of acceptance and relating.
I think you want sort of when
I
you-
heard
when
great
I've
things
travelled
about
too, you want to portray you are a Kiwi. You don't want to be known or thought that you're an English or an American. If you can put on some bit of Kiwiana or a bit of a silver fern or an All Blacks top or something that people sort of respect or be nicer towards you, they're not just another Western tourist, I suppose. But not that I've done much travelling of late. But I remember you'd always try to put on that sort of show them that you're not actually just another country as such. I do like when people do find Kiwis more friendly or they'll be more likely to come and have a yarn and talk to you or something. It's got a good name overseas, New Zealand.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Was the Caribbean the warmest place for you guys to dive and enjoy the swim? Because in Brazil, it's so good. It's tropical, the Atlantic.
Just had no
warm,
variation.
beautiful.
We're so close to the equator. Like the summer temperatures would max out at 28, 29. Winters would max out at 24, 23. There was no real variance.
Did you get the storms though?
We didn't get
We got
any
no
cyclones.
hurricanes
Really?
over there.
But the
Yeah.
year we came back and bought the glass bottom boat, 2013, 2014, Cyclone Irma.
That was one of them.
Yeah, it was a Hurricane Irma, whatever. Yeah, went straight through the British Virgin Islands and just decimated it. And that was only months after being there. And we had obviously a few friends over there, and they were showing us videos, and they had no power for months and months. And that was sort of backwards. We'd always get power cuts once a month there anyway, for whatever reason, for a couple of days at max. But yeah, it was hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Some of the videos I've seen of people looking out their windows and they're obviously all battered or whether they can sneak through a peak, and the palm trees, massive palm trees, just getting ripped and just flowing down these streets at like 120 k's. If you're anything on the road, you're just gone.
All the trees got stripped. All the
Everything,
buildings
all
got
the
stripped.
water, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty hectic.
Have you guys ever, because you guys obviously work, you love the water, always have, you work on boats, marine biology, killing fish. But
I was waiting for
have
that.
you ever lived, would you live on a boat, like living on a yacht, sort of living for a long period of time? Did you do that at all?
I would, but I
Yeah.
haven't.
I would, yeah. I wouldn't do it with my children. I'd be too paranoid. I'd be following them around the boat the whole time. Plus, little kids in a really little area for a really long amount of time would probably do my head in. But yeah, I reckon that would be really cool. I'd love to do that. My friend's just done that. She did it previously, and now she's just gone off on another adventure. She was on here, Liesl.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. They're
Liesl.
in Fiji now.
I spoke
I've
to
pretty
her.
much blocked
They made
her
it.
because I'm
Yeah,
sick
they
of
made
seeing
it.
her awesome Fiji photos.
I'm glad she made it. I quite like Liesl.
Lizzo.
She's a cool
She's
character.
the best. Yes, yes.
She's some pretty amazing stories.
She does.
Yeah.
One of her. Do you remember her story about being a dishy, and then she found the alcohol,
The barrel, yeah.
the barrel. So we made a reel out of that. It's a little story, and it's our record of views. I think like 5,000,
Because
6,000
she was a
views of that
dishwasher at a
story.
restaurant, right? So she just washed dishes, getting drunk every
Yeah,
night.
she found a barrel, and
Yeah. I told her that she needed to write a book of all of her
Oh, yeah.
stories. Yeah.
Well, you guys have done, you got your own book. You know, like the first 30 chapters about Exmouth, and then like one, you eventually get to Canada, one in Tonga. Like,
And then just talk about Exmouth a little bit more. in
That's
another part of the
18.
book. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
it would sell a lot there.
You set me up for that.
I did.
You did.
did.
Line and sinker.
So we do have a live chat during our shows. This is so cool. Look at us talking for 1 hour and 45. That's fantastic.
Oh, cool.
That's
Live chat.
Yeah. One of the questions I think you guys have answered, but I'm going to read it anyway to show appreciation to our audience. Silver Shadow says, how were the orcas the other week with the school kids? So
Yeah.
we covered that. And
Yeah,
then
epic.
we have another one. Hiya, have you seen some big sharks while in the glass bottom boats? If yes, what type were they? Thanks,
No.
Hanako.
I get asked sharks daily. Short answer,
No.
no. Whale sharks, obviously, you've seen a few of them, but that was in Exmouth. Never seen a great white in my life, which I want to. I definitely want to one day, but they are seen off these waters around New Zealand, obviously, but they're pretty hit and miss. If you do see one, it's pretty lucky. The word's probably lucky, not you shouldn't be too fearful of them. I've seen a few sharks on the glass bottom boat, but
Not close.
not
Never under the
close.
glass. They always are just
One
kind
off,
of like
yeah.
on the surface. And if we take a boat over to the shark to be like, hey, guys, look, here's like a shark. And they're always small. They're like little hammerheads or something. The shark is just kind of stays off a fair distance and just kind of swims around and then it's gone. Yeah. Hardly ever see them.
Pricks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you need like a glass side boat.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to teach people about you. Come back and play with us for a little
your
while.
little hammerhead hammerheads, seen a couple of makos, bronze whalers, blues, but not many. They're pretty few and far between.
It'd be cool if we did.
We have thought
Fascinating
to go out
animals,
there and
eh?
chum up.
Just
Yeah, it'd be quite cool to go to a certain spot and chum up under the glass. I have thought about doing that.
we're trying to bring the guy. I got in touch but haven't heard back. Do you know the guy from Aotearoa, the one who's got the
Riley.
show?
Riley.
Are you guys friends with him?
Yep.
We used to work with
there you
him.
go.
Yeah, he worked on the
That's
glass bottom boat.
He was what? I'm sorry.
He worked on the glass bottom boat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. So guys will help me with that because he's so into it. Eh? He's got a show
Yeah.
and he's got a lot of. Yeah.
I was say you mentioned the mako. I think when I was in Rarotonga, they had their Independence Day celebration type thing. Their I think it's 50 years. They celebrate every year. It's like a festival, 3 weeks of no school, no work. But the preparation before then is 3 months of no school, no work. Really, it's just a huge bloody festival. A bit like our 2 year 250 we had up here, but times 12. And there's 100 performances on 10 stages every day, parades. And one of them is celebrated. They had a not shark skin drum that was like the first non-markor drum that their skin that they had. That was the oldest, like 50 years old, because they'd stopped hunting fish or anything for skins to make instruments anymore. And so we sort of showed this is the first one who sort of did, and we've kept it around this long and it's worked. And it was a big cultural shift that they got to recognise. You know, they stopped hunting them for meat.
Yeah, it's a big cult. People still to this
Huge.
day, they still fear sharks, so everyone does. It's just the thing, you're in the water for one thing, it's people are feared enough being in the water. Then you chuck this man-eating tooth animal that everyone's peeking out about. But really, they kill, I think, roughly 6 to 8 people a year worldwide, and there's crazy statistics out there. You look at many
Like
things.
thousands and thousands a day.
Well, million, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
of
yeah.
sharks that get killed a day. Yeah.
People ask me on the boat always about the sharks, and I'll say in the last 10 years in New Zealand, probably going to Google it, could be wrong. In the last 10 years, there's been 2 fatalities from sharks. And that last 10 years in New Zealand, there's been 1 person killed by an elephant and 1 person killed by a tiger in New Zealand.
That's
it's
awesome. And 16 cougars.
16 cougars. And that's
Highest
one of them.
percent rate.
And 59 black-footed cats. And
not
sadly,
talk about the
600
domestic
domestic
cats.
cats.
Yeah, it's the domestic cats you need to watch out for.
Yeah, they smother their parents, their host families, just lie on top of them. Asphyxiation.
I have swum with Hayley a few times now. Too fast for me. That's a great comment, Steve.
Is that from
There you go.
Steve?
Silver Shadow. I don't know the person. Actually. Someone put
Whoa! You beat Silver Shadow. That's got to
Yeah.
go on your tombstone. Not for a while. Yeah, eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Silver Shadow.
I'm lucky enough to swim with some pretty cool people. Yeah. So there's the Matarangi sea salt swimmers. Shout out to you guys. Yeah. Go out there and I swim out there in the estuary with them. And the Mad Cows.
Is that the
in-
Kuatunu?
That's the Mad Cows. Yep. And then there's the Hahe group as well. Yeah. That's pretty good. There's some good ocean swimming beaches here.
And
It's really good.
you beat all of them, is that right?
No.
Sure.
No.
You sorry, you win your age division.
No.
The cougar division. Sorry, so easy.
So
It's good.
from the sea salt swimmers, there's a handful of us that go around and do competitions. So there's a ocean swim series, and there's ocean and lake, and we all kind of go and do that, which is really cool. And we all are pretty strong swimmers in our age division, and we usually between us we all have hit podium every now and again. Yeah, which is good. It's quite good. It's impressive. But it's just cool to go and do trips with like-minded people and enjoy some swimming and just get out there.
Do you do any proper? Do you do any breathing exercises when you're not swimming? Do you guys have a routine of? Because when you dive, do you do free dive?
Yeah, I
as
used
well?
to be right into free diving. I've probably gone off it a bit now, but yeah, back in the day, 10 years ago, I was right into it. I'd probably would do breathing exercise. I'd walk around the house holding my breath quite often. I was just sort of always pushing and trying to go deeper and longer and stuff. And
Did you have a limit? Did you have a time you beat?
I had a depth. I got to 33 metres once. That's 100 foot on a snorkel. I did that in Tonga. That's the deepest I've done.
And then what was their return journey? All right, it's time
Pretty
to go.
hectic. I had a couple of guys watch me. I was sort of aiming for it. I was in this spot where it was obviously quite deep, and they had a couple of guys that were following me down to sort of halfway and then time before. And I don't know what it would be actually. I'd never timed it, but it'd be a good minute and a half maybe. Minute 40-ish. But the water's so clear, not that it makes it any shallower, but it does, because if you can see, if you're diving in clear
And
water, it's so much easier to go deeper.
Yeah. And
if you're diving in murky water,
and
like
it's getting
Whitianga
darker
harbour,
as you're going down as well, you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, it adds to your anxiety or
Yeah,
whatever
that
is happening
headspace
there,
is
right?
pretty-
Yeah.
gone. If you were to dive if you were to dive the Whitianga harbour and it's been pissing out rain, you would not be able to hold your breath for long at
Should we
all.
give it a go? Should we all have a hold your breath competition? You got a timer?
No.
It won't make for good listening.
Really? Yeah. A bit of
Look,
a
I've seen
quiet
some of those
moment
The,
there in
sound,
the
the
show.
sound's
the
off.
show.
Taylor, the sound's off.
We can do it after and tell the audience who
Yeah,
won.
right. Put it in the comments.
George Smith says, "Hi, Hayley and Mark. Would you guys have winter or local packages?" Thank you.
Ooh.
That's a great question, George.
Like packages or discounts? Is he talking about discounts? Yeah.
He says packages, but you guys can
Yeah.
break it down.
Yes, we definitely do during the
We had
winter,
one today.
especially if it's not a weekend. So if it's like a during the week thing, we are definitely able to give local discounts, and we are pretty generous for local people as well.
Can imagine a winter package being quite small in the cold.
But
That's a penis joke. Sorry, translating.
I think I got it, but
You
thanks.
got it? Oh,
Thanks
good
for
man,
being.
good man. I have
I
to
got it.
explain these
It's
sometimes.
quite universal.
I've had
that
to help.
joke.
I've had to
Like, it
help
kind
a few
of works
times.
with
Occasionally, he
most
hasn't got them,
dicks,
so
I would say.
you got to be kind.
yeah, we actually had one today. I put it up on Footy Chit Chat, and I put it up at about 11, saying, "Hey, we have seats at 1 o'clock."
So sort of last minute sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Like if we're going out on a trip and we've only got 4 people on the boat takes 14, 10 spare seats, we're still going to go out. The cost is still the same. We've got the boat going out, so that's when we can discount. But as long as you don't come on weekends, long weekends,
Or a long
summer
weekend.
holidays.
And it's hard because that's when everyone's got
That's
the
when
time
everyone-
off,
and
they
that's when
wanna-
everyone's friends and family come. You'll have all these friends and family come out of the woodwork, and it'll be 28th of December. Oh, my auntie and uncle here, Mark, we take me out. It's like, well, it's like no, bring them on like June the 17th. You know, like, but no one's here on June the 17th. They're all here on Boxing Day. So
It must be a really difficult incentive sort of balance going, nah, don't book right now. Just wait till the day of and check their Facebook page.
Yeah. It is. It is really hard. But
for
like,
locals, they
if-
can do that.
if
Obviously.
you're-
But for us, it's good. For
But
us, it's great.
If you're a local and you've got a weekday off and you called us and said, "Hey, like I live here, have you got any trips going out today?" Then we would offer you a local discount. So
Do you ask us to bring an envelope with our address?
with your I want
yeah?
your rates, your credit
Yeah.
card number, your
did
driver's
that in
license number.
Vancouver.
Deposit or password?
The name of the mayor.
The outgoing mayor
Yeah. Or the candidate.
candidate.
You gotta
Oh,
say one of them.
I heard on the radio today Len Salt has put his name forward and another name that I don't care about. I'm going for Len.
John Freer.
I'm going for Len.
They're both coming here. Not at
Yeah?
the same time.
Nice. I
We
came.
hope.
Yeah, but no, definitely happy to do local deals. Yeah, our best ambassador is our locals. You know, when people come here and they're like, "Oh, so hi, where are you from? Oh, what do you recommend?" You know, we would like them to recommend us, and it also like it's really cool for them to see what we have right on their back doorstep. Like some of them don't have a boat, some have never seen fish for the first, like in the wild or anything like that,
And
and
people
it's
do
good for them
literally
to
get-
see it.
not blown away, but they do always think it's better than what they expect. I think people just think you're going out there, look at a couple of fish and a couple of rocks, which is in essence what we do, but it's always better than what they expect. So
So Hayley's in the marketing. Yeah.
yeah, I leave
Look
it
at a
up to
couple
Hayley.
of fish and a couple of rocks. Glass bottom boat tours.
You're trying to build the expectation. It's quite hard sometimes with our brochure and website and all the promotional things. Like you obviously want to put out your best orca picture and your best dolphin picture and your best snorkeler, and it's just this amazing. And it's sort of we've often when we first bought the business, you wouldn't want to bring them down a bit, but you sort of don't want to put out your glamour because then it's me on the boat. She does all the marketing. That's great. I get on the boat and I've got all these people that are just expecting.
So when do we see the
orcas
dolphins?
to jump over
You know?
the roof
Yeah.
and pat them and it's like it doesn't happen every 2 hours, but I think that's marketing, isn't it? Like no matter where you go, gondolas, snowboarding, whatever, you want to put up your best photos, best pictures, best everything.
It
But
picks people 20 metres above the ramp.
yeah,
If that's me, I'm about to die.
So generally, like if we have local people or like, because we do like offer industry for meals as well. You know, like if you have an accommodation or something like that, then you can come out in our boat. But we're really honest. So if they come to us and it's like kind of an average-ish day, you can't see the bottom in some places, a little bit of a lump, we just like, nah, don't come out today. Like we want
That's
you to,
nice. That's
we
nice. I
want you
like
to
that.
come out, and we want you, and for locals,
Same
we're
as the
like,
school kids, really.
yeah, you know, like if you can come another time when it's really, really good, because you'll only come once.
My daughter said something quite insightful today. I dropped her off at a party in Kuatunu, and I said, so, you know, I'm going out to talk to these people, you know, from the Glass Bottom. Oh, did you know that one of our learning support teachers who sometimes in our class, she said that she's lived in Whitianga for years and she just never bothered going. But then she got to come with us and she said, it's actually amazing, Dad, and that she's actually now going to take her family. I thought, oh, I'll let them know. Yeah, so you've got at least one person sold.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's exactly how we felt.
But we do get there. A lot of
That's how
locals,
it
and they'll
felt.
say
It was like,
they
wow.
won't come out for whatever reason, and they do. They're like, well, that's actually
Or
pretty
if
good.
they've got their own boat, you know, like if they've got we've got our own boat, we don't need to come out. And I was like, well, why don't you just come out? Like you don't get to see the fish in your boat, and you don't just to get to sit back and relax, and
Young families here, and a lot of school, like young families at school, because you get a lot of them here that aren't, I'm sorry, community. I'm not a local. Live here 40 years. I probably will never end up being a local. But being a young family here, it took 3 years to go to the Lost Spring.
yeah.
Because we can't afford it. And to do
And
all
you
the
can't
per-
actually
to
even
do
take
the
your
to do
kids
the
to the Lost
perks.
Spring.
You can always
then-
do it one day too.
Yeah.
You'll always do it one day, and all
One
of
day,
a
one day,
sudden-
one day.
yeah.
And then eventually you get to the point where, all our family's here. Oh, okay. Oh, they're all booked. So
Yeah.
it
You'll bring
becomes
it
sort
for
of
a
this thing.
discount,
You really have to go like,
Yeah.
yes, we need to do it. So I think what you did with the school was a brilliant incentive because I got all the kids going, Mum, Dad, let's go again. Because they loved it.
Perfect.
It
That's
was
pretty much the whole
It was a
idea of it.
beautiful experience. It
Yeah,
was fun.
and to get orcas, as we stoked, there's an article in the Informer there a few weeks ago, and it was like, I think they are going to come out every year, that same age group.
Yeah.
But like next year, it's going to be a hard incentive to try to beat like orcas on every trip. It doesn't get much.
Just
better.
put the
Octopus
order in.
fighting a hammerhead. Whoa!
Well, the trip before that, the kids, like, we see a few seals, but they're usually just like bathing on the rocks and just being really
sure.
lazy. And this one particular seal hung out underneath our boat for like 20 minutes, like right underneath the glass, looking up, blowing bubbles, doing circles. And
Show off.
yeah, and that was our first school group. That was the ones that didn't get to see the orcas. But like even that in itself is
Oh,
like
yeah.
super cool. But like we have like a really beautiful area here. Like we've got beautiful ocean, beautiful coastline. It's really pristine. We need to look after it and take care of it. And the best way for us to do that is by people experiencing it. You don't really know, you don't really love what you don't know. So like the more people we can get out there to see what we have in there, to see our marine reserve, like it is special. You can see so much stuff in this small area.
A couple of months ago, the council put out like a colouring competition, right? Draw the marine reserve area. I think Daniel Vaughan won. I think one of your drum students, really cool artist. You know, get kids to try and draw something about the environment, something to local iwi connection. The kids had to draw. I think that was quite a cool incentive because the kids came with some pretty cool artwork
Yeah.
to get to know it. But now they've been on the boats, they've drawn it.
Was
they've
that
been
with
on
the
it.
council or was that with the...
Was it the council or was it a doc or?
I know the Experiencing Marine Reserves
It may well be that, yeah.
program, yeah. And the kids that usually win that sort of stuff get to go to like the Poor Nights, and they get to go into the Poor Nights Marine Reserve and experience that, and they do a liverboard and stuff. Is that the one?
What's a liverboard?
Oh,
Have a guess.
you live on a boat
You
for a
live on a
night.
border
Oh,
boat.
live
Yeah.
aboard. I heard liverboard. I'm going, geez, a liver? Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You inspiring him.
Can we delete that button?
Yeah. Yeah. So is that the one that you're talking about, the picture? Because there was some really, really good pictures that came from Mercury Bay.
You sort of had to draw a marine reserve, draw a couple of features of it, any perspective,
I think
try
it
and
was
link to.
EMRA.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Oh, I don't know. The ones that I was talking about, they talked about. I think it was like almost a rubbish thing or a things that are hurting the ocean, and it was bringing awareness to that. I think that so it might be a different thing.
And when you
But
see
it's-
it, you want to protect it. That's
Yes,
the thing.
that's
It makes
exactly right.
sense. What you were
Yeah.
explaining, the stories,
Yeah.
and you're looking at it. Even Taylor said, he was like, wow, I wish every boat
Yeah.
would have this. Because it
Education.
would teach so much appreciation for...
Education is the key, you know, like the more you can educate people and show them what we have. You know, I've got the hands going. I'm doing your thing, Leo. You know, like the more we can teach them, the more that they want to preserve it, the more they love it, and the more they're going to stand up for it. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. on the boat.
We
And
do
that's
get
what
quite
we're
a few
trying to do
school
with the little
groups.
kids. I'm like, you will love this.
We used to take out the Whanuakiti school,
I was going to say, the contributing schools that come to our, contributing from my view of being in Mercury Bay. So, yeah, would you get sort of Te Reringa, Whenua-Kite, Coroglen?
We've had Whenuakiti out
We've had
before.
Whenuakiti.
The Experience Marine Reserve we're talking about, they do a lot of land-based diving, so they haven't. But we've talked to Amber before to come out in the boats. We've had a few schools from down the line, like Napier, have come up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Jeez.
they were heading to Kaikoura. They'd always go to Kaikoura, and then the Kaikoura shake happened in whatever year that was, and they changed like the week before, and they just changed their group to come to the Coromandel, and they've been coming back every year since. They've gone bugger Coromandel and bugger the Kaikoura and just come up here, so that's been pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's-
we try and reach out to a lot of the schools, and be like, the price it's cheap for school groups. It's a really good price because it's not about making money. It's more about the awareness and getting the word out there and getting as many people into the marine reserve to see how cool the ocean actually is.
There was kind of
So-
big numbers, and they're always fun too.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows each other, and they're all running around. We do quite a lot of snorkeling with them in the summer. At Taradale High School Napier, they were always snorkeling all the time. They were fizzing on it.
So can you guys tell us where to find you, the website or social medias, just so people, for our locals, and because we were talking about people coming and traveling to the Coromandel again. Now it's going to start to happen, so it's a good moment to tell people how
Make a
to
little
find
clip.
you guys.
Good luck. Here you are.
There you go, Hayley. Do it.
Point to the camera. So on the website you can find us on www.gbbw.co.nz, and that takes you to our website. We're also on Facebook for Glass Bottom Boat Whitianga, and the same on Instagram, and they're kind of our social media channels. We put a lot of photos on Instagram and Facebook. We share a lot of stuff, a lot of stories, and that's
How often do you go out? Are you 7 days a week?
7 days a week if weather's
weather
permitting.
dependent. Yeah.
2 trips a day. If the weather's good, we'll be out every single day except Christmas.
Yeah.
We're out tomorrow. We're out Sunday, and then it looking rough Monday, Tuesday. So that's will be our weekend.
It's been pretty poopy, the old easterly weather pattern this year.
Is there any 4 seats left on something tomorrow that people online can start snapping on, giving you a call?
I think we do have seats left tomorrow. I have to check my phone, but I'm pretty sure we might even have 2 boats out tomorrow. Last I looked, tomorrow
I think there's still
afternoon
seats on the 10:30 and seats at 1 o'clock, and then there might be Sunday morning, and then there's
You'll be free
poopy
tomorrow.
weather for the next few days.
You're free tomorrow, are you?
No, I'm off to Auckland tomorrow. I got my wife's birthday was a few weeks ago, but we planned a big weekend. Going to Masu restaurant in Auckland.
Wow.
Gonna go eat some seafood.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So there you go for the locals who are around. Just loving you tonight, man. You might get the fish that was eating the fish that Mark was
Yeah.
On the plate,
raising.
the
Yeah, so you might
kingfish.
get
It
that.
won't be a descendant because they all died
Specialty.
out and they didn't breed because they died.
But actually, the parents, as such as the brood stock, are
There
still
you
in
go.
tanks.
Oh yeah.
And you can freeze them. and all
And
that.
in Bream Bay and Whangarei. There you go. You never know.
Don't visit them.
I actually have.
Before this get worse, thank you so much, Hayley and
Thank
Mark.
you for having us. Yeah.
That was cool.
Thank you very much.
No,
Yeah, it
thanks,
was a
guys.
great chat. Yeah.
You guys are professionals, man. There you go. Should be running a show, Glass Bottom Boat Show. We'll
I
think
giggle
about
too
that.
much to run a show.
Mr. Roberts, that was very cool. I love your jumper, by the way.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's a new colour scheme. You tried offering me a grey one a few weeks ago and it was hideous.
Yeah, he actually complains about a gift.
Yeah,
that
I
kind
didn't
of
want
guy.
it. Well, again, if you want me to wear something, make sure it's good. But I think I gave it to Gabe, so Gabe's wearing the ugly hoodie.
It
So.
really suits him. It's pretty cool.
Gabes
Well-
as in hula Gabes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but he lacks a bit of personality, so it sort of reflects our Gabe, our friend, Mr. Short Hair Curly. He is getting a bit grey now, actually, in his beard. Have you noticed?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's nice.
Aging.
Thanks, Emma, for putting it together in the office, letting me have it before you let Leo know.
And the cool thing, what was this slang that we learned about fashion clothing, the drips?
Kids at school calling it where can I get the drips? Where can I get
Where can
drips?
I
It must
get
be a
the
slang
drips?
word for
Drip.
fashion.
Where can I get
so
the drips?
yeah, they want the drips, which
yeah.
is just awful sounding.
Anyway,
It's
for the
also
kids,
making me feel really old again.
there you go. For the kids asking
dope
for the
as.
drips and for the adults asking for the drips, we are
Cowabunga.
we're gonna sell the merch sometime soon. We're just doing some trials because we like to experiment with the colors, as you can see.
I like the blue.
Yeah, the blue is great, eh? With yellow.
Yeah, Hector.
Hector,
Take it off, throw it over.
Glass bottom boat colours.
They're glass bottom boat.
Hector, come here, man.
Wink, wink.
Come here. Let's show. It's which camera? Mine?
You talked about our mentoring program earlier, and we got
Yeah,
this
Hector
young
is one
man.
of them. Don't
Hector,
kick the camera and point us.
How old are you, Hector? 13?
14.
14. 14 and
Look
working.
at this
Yeah.
blue, beautiful jumper with a yellow look. Huh?
Go down.
Down.
More there.
And towards Leo.
Jesus
Get over
Christ.
here.
Get here. Here, man. You go.
So you may not be aware that Hector's actually run half the show as the
How are you,
technician
Hector?
tonight.
I'm good.
He's been hitting the button the
Yeah.
whole time.
Is it?
The hardest job here.
There you go.
It probably is, yeah. Like, yeah. We don't take any of this seriously, so really you're the only one
Thanks.
working.
Anyway, we're doing something, right? We're trying our best.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thank you.
I love ALTBAYS. Thanks for having me back. Always fun.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
We'll hopefully be back on the Glass Bottom Boat, and I hope to have you guys back sometime soon to more
Yeah.
chats, to more stories. Fantastic. Wow, Coro Days, eh? Shout out to Adam
good
and
job.
Blue Fridge Brewery. Yes, we're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. The best way to support our platform is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, so more people get to know about our videos, and then YouTube start to suggest our videos to other people, and that's how we're gonna grow. And what's gonna happen after we grow?
Play the bloody music. Come on, let's get out of here.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's Friday night. Ciao.